Yeah. yeah, 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 yeah. Shake it, but get pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eyes. The Bible guy, he reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy, he turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy, watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, folks. Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. How are you all doing today? Everyone, make sure you tap that screen. Share the live with those you love and those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there so we can have some interesting conversations. Today, we're kind of doing like a little bit of an open sort of topic. It's like, hey, I'm an atheist. Let's talk. And hopefully that'll attract some individuals who want to actually have a conversation with us. So here we are. How's everyone doing today? Fun fact, Charlie Sheen wrote that shingle. He definitely did not. Absolutely not. But I am winning. Let's see. Thoughts about the Septuagint over the Masoretic text? I would prefer an original Hebrew over a translation. I'm doing fantastic. What qualifies you, or what credentials do you have for anybody to listen to you? Well, I know the Bible better than most Christians, so, that's, I think that's pretty good. I know you might as well listen to me over any Christian. Dalton needs more viewers. Personally, I think he's doing these lives just a bit too early. Maybe. But I will, we might be doing an after show after the main YouTube show. So we'll see how many viewers we get there. That doesn't prove any qualifications or credentials. Hey, if I know the Bible better than a Christian, then you might as well come to me to talk about the Bible over a Christian. That's all I gotta say. If you don't like it, you don't have to participate. Ohms, drums. I mean, I'm more credentialed than you are. Awfully safe to talk smack down there in the comments, but yeah, that is true. The Masoretic text is later than the Septuagint. Have you looked into that? Pretty interesting. I mean, it's a copy of the Hebrew Bible that's later than our copies of the Septuagint. But like when we compare the Masoretic text with the Septuagint, they're pretty similar to one another. There are instances in which the Dead Sea Scrolls, which I think are older than the Septuagint, actually agree with the Masoretic text over the Septuagint. BS, if you know the Bible, you will be Christian. No, I know the Bible, and as a result, I cease to be a Christian. But Chase, you're more than welcome to come up and we can talk about that. Fact of the matter is, oh, here, let me read this in the Christian voice. Here, wait a minute.
Fact of the matter is, you don't know anything, just like everyone else doesn't know anything.
Well, it's fantastic that you're dumb on the Bible, that you're ignorant on the Bible, almost drums, but, just because you're ignorant on the Bible doesn't mean that everyone else is. Yeah, as Sayadina Alice says, we can agree that you don't know stuff, though. Let's see. Yet you have no qualifications or credentials to back up anything. If you say so, bud. I'm more credentialed than you. Can you tell us more? Oh, wait, we got Roy Ray. Roy Ray, I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, Are you at least 18?
Yeah.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
This, that.
Neither of the words this nor that are pronouns in the English language. Try again.
These, those.
These and those are also not pronouns in the English language. Do you know what pronouns are, bud?
Yeah.
All right, then give us your third person pronouns.
That, this.
I will give you only one more opportunity to actually answer the question, or we'll just move on to the next guest and you won't get to talk about Jeebus Crispy. So what pronouns do you go by?
I'm it.
Well, you tried. All right. The fun hits I'm going to ask you 3 questions and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
And what pronouns do you go by?
You mean snakes don't talk, but you can't tell I'm a guy? I thought
Sorry,
I
that
left,
is not
I,
an
I left one
acceptable
crazy
answer.
kid for an.
That's
left one
that's
crazy-
not an acceptable
You would
answer to the
literally
question.
look at Rambo and be like, "Are you a he or a her?"
I don't
Like,
know what
are
Rambo.
you
I don't know who
serious?
Rambo is. I
Are
don't know what
you
pronoun.
serious?
So, are you refusing to engage?
You're as dumb as the people who believe it.
Ooh, man, it looks like someone's not a Christian anymore, but they're still stupid. That's crazy. You have no reason to be such a snowflake over the question of what your pronouns are.
But you know my pronouns. You're not stupid.
I don't. So I'll give you one more opportunity to tell us, or you don't get to talk to me.
Okay, my name is Chris, and you can
Uh-huh.
put the you can put the dots.
Anyways, everyone make sure you tap that screen, share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the words out there so we can have some interesting conversations with honest interlocutors who actually will answer questions. Man, already 2 pronoun crash outs within the first 11 minutes. That's a pretty crazy record. Hopefully we won't get a third. Renaud Bajota, are you at least 18 years old?
Hello.
Hello, are you at least 18?
Hello, how are you?
Hello, are you at least 18?
Yes,
And what pronouns do you go by?
a girl.
Well, girl is not a pronoun in the English language. Do you go by he, him, she, her, they, them?
She, her.
All right, fantastic. And are you a Christian or a theist or an atheist?
No, I'm not Christian. I'm Muslim.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. I'm an atheist. What would you like to talk about?
So you don't have a religion, do you?
I don't.
But do you want to have one?
Nope.
Never, even if it's the truth?
What year were you born?
1996.
And what age did you say you were?
30.
All right. Yeah, if it's true, sure. But I have no reason to think that Islam is true, especially when it gets stuff wrong in its book.
No, it doesn't get anything wrong.
It does. Where does sperm come
No,
from?
tell me like what? It comes from the man.
But where?
I don't know what it's called, but it comes from him.
What do you guys? Oh, wait 1 second. What do you guys think?
Did she complete high school?
Did you say 98 or 96?
96.
Listen, I'm going to have to take a pass on this conversation just because I'm a little bit suspicious. So maybe come back when you're not sus. Whew. Anyways, Belka, are you at least 18 years old? Hello, are you at least 18 years old?
Yep, I'm 30.
All right, and what pronouns do you go by?
Don't worry about that. I'm Muslim, so I'm go back he, his.
Oh, what was that?
He, his.
There you go. And you're Muslim.
Yep.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible guy. I'm an atheist. What would you like to talk about?
Well, nice to meet you. It's up to you. What do you think?
What do I think?
Let's start. Why are you atheist?
Because I've been given no good reason to think there's a God.
What is a good reason for you?
I don't know, because I've never heard one.
Well, okay. Who created the world? Who created you? Who's sustaining your bloodstream? Who's sustaining you while you sleep?
Whoa. One question at a time. Which question would you like to ask?
Okay.
What question would you like to ask me?
Who's
Who's the what?
your basically your veins and specific?
You
Yeah.
cut out for a second there. I heard
Who
who's
is
the
sustaining
something.
your body?
Me.
Who is sustaining? Yes.
It's me.
So
I'm the
basically,
one
you
sustaining my
breathe
body.
the oxygen.
Yes, I breathe the oxygen. It's my
Okay.
heart that pumps the blood in my body.
Yep. And why do you sleep?
Because I
Who
get
is sustaining
tired.
your body while you're sleep and unconscious?
Me. My body's it's still my body
But
that's functioning while I'm asleep. It's still my brain that's regulating all the parts of my body. It's still my heart pumping my blood even while I'm asleep.
yeah, that is not my question. Correct. There is an organ that is running smoothly, specifically to sustain you while you are asleep.
My heart and my
Right?
brain.
Right or wrong?
Yes, my heart
Yeah,
and my
this is
brain,
the organ. The organ
they sustain my body while I sleep.
but the body or the heart is unconscious, right?
No,
It is
no,
not assisting
the
breathing.
body is conscious. I have a brain that
Okay.
is
So
conscious, and it's the thing that runs my body.
it has conscious.
Yes, my brain has consciousness. Did he leave? God damn. My dude thought he was eating there for a second. That's what happens when you only talk to people in your religious circles. You ask these really questions you think are really deep, like who created the world, and your religious friends are over here like, yes, amen, amen. And then you come to these conversations and you ask these questions, and people look at you like you're a silly Billy because like I'm running my body. That's how my body works. Hey, bud.
Hey, man. What do you mean the brain is conscious? That's a pretty controversial opinion, don't you think?
I didn't think it was, but maybe it is to that last caller.
That's I'm surprised that was the straw, right? I'm surprised that was what crossed the line.
Yeah, apparently. Jeff, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
And what pronouns do you go by?
She, her.
All right. And are you a theist or an atheist?
Theist.
All right. I'm Dalton the Bible guy. I'm an atheist. What would you like to talk about?
Jesus is the only way.
Okay. Why should I think that's true?
Because it says so in the Bible.
Okay. Why should I believe the Bible when it says in John 14, verse 6 that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life?
Because it's the word of God.
Why should I think it's the word of God?
Because it says it's the word of God.
That's a bit circular. The Quran also says it's the word of God. Should I believe it?
No.
All right, then I shouldn't believe the Bible for when it just says that. I need a reason to believe it's the word of God.
Because Paul, through the Holy Spirit, said it's the word of God.
Okay, but why should I think that Paul received the Holy Spirit and that what Paul said was true?
Because he fell off his horse and saw Jesus.
Paul didn't fall off a horse, not that I'm aware of. And if
Well,
he saw
he's going-
Jesus, and if he saw Jesus, well, hallucinations happen all the time. We have evidence that hallucinations occur. So,
oh fuck, I'm gonna be an atheist. Bye.
That was probably a troll.
From the very beginning.
But I'll take it. Fuck it. W atheism, I guess. Oh man. All right, everyone tap that screen. We're at 4.3 thousand likes. I'm sure we can get to 10K in no time. There's 76 of you in here. So make sure you're tapping on that glass, waving through a window. She was for sure a troll. Yeah. On the road to Damascus, fun fact, I'm pretty sure, like, people often talk about Paul falling off his horse. Pretty sure there's nothing in the book of Acts about Paul being on a horse and falling off of it.
I thought that he like fell off a donkey, but is that whole concept just like a narrative that's not in the Bible? I know that he like saw some shit, heard some shit, apparently.
I think the a whole horse or donkey bit, that's part of traditional Catholic art, is where that idea comes from, not from the Bible itself.
Hmm.
Wait, someone's saying, then prove me that you're an atheist. Yeah, the only way I can prove to you that I'm an atheism is like me saying I don't believe in your proposition. So the only way I can demonstrate to you that I don't believe you is by telling you that I don't believe you. So the evidence that I'm an atheist is that I don't believe you, Crimzone.
You believe.
Yeah, I guess Crimzone thinks I'm secretly a theist. Try to breathe the air that an atheist made. Well, I'm sure I could buy some oxygen canister somewhere.
I think pure oxygen is like really dangerous, isn't it, to inhale?
Yeah.
We gotta have that shit diluted.
Yeah, with some nitrogen and other bullshit. The fact that I don't believe cannot be false. Yeah. Crimzone, unless you can demonstrate, unless you want to come up here and demonstrate to the audience that you have the ability to read minds, then you can't tell me that I'm not an atheist. The last word of an atheist before he dies is, God, please forgive me. No, the last words of an atheist are, someone take this catheter out of my dick, and then they die. By the way, I read the first chapter of Project Hail Mary. Actually, I read the first 2 chapters of Project Hail Mary, but the first chapter, quite a bit of time spent in talking about Dr. Grace's catheter up his bum and his penis. So prime writing. Although it is good though. The book so far is really good.
That's what you and Rat Soup were talking about on my live the other night. I need to. It's a series too, right? It's like a TV show or a movie or something.
It's a
as
movie.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to check it out.
It just came out a couple months ago in theaters, and now it's out on digital. It's got Ryan Gosling in it.
I'm gonna have to watch that because apparently it's very moving, from what I gather.
It is very moving, very much so. Yeah, I cried at one point. All right. So, Christians. If there are any Christians or Muslims or any kind of theist who'd like to come up and talk with me, you're more than welcome to do so. For now, I guess we'll bring up a friendly Glorp, who I just met about half an hour ago. Howdy, Glorp.
Hey, man, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Just going through the day. Yeah, I gotta say again, sorry for mischaracterizing you when we first met. That was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed it.
For everyone who wants to know the backstory, like I met Glorp about 30 minutes ago on my friend Equality's live. And because, you know, as is often the case, you know, people see me talking about the Bible. I'm called the Bible guy. No context can lead anyone, honestly, to believe that I'm a crispy Christian. And so they came at me, and it was fun to be on the receiving end of it for once.
Yep, that is the mistake I made as an ignorant fool.
Your first, I mean, I told them that their first hint that I wasn't a Christian should have been that I was biblically literate.
Yeah.
Like a dead giveaway. Yeah.
Him debating a Scientologist who believes in Xenu would be amazing. Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to do with a Scientologist. I guess I just have to keep asking them questions, and then when they say some bullshit that's contrary to science, ask them to demonstrate that is true other than their book says so. I know they think that that the universe is much older than what it actually is. Like so it's all kinds of crazy shit. Stick says, "Oh, Christian, where are you? You can run, but you can't hide." Absolutely. Crimzone, would you like to come up and talk to us? You seem to be running your mouth a little bit in the comment section.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to say, Adando.
That voice is so funny. I was just watching Smosh earlier today, and Shane Top, he did this bit where he walked up to his wife while he's wearing like a Phantom of the Opera mask. He goes, I think I'm beginning to like the opera. So funny.
My wife
Dude, I love
hates
Shane.
that voice. My wife hates the voice. Whenever I do it, I don't do it a lot, but I play a game with my friend Joey from work. His character's name is Crazy Wrinkle Brains, and we always say Crazy Winkle Brains. And she says,
That's crazy.
"You better stop that shit right now. I will, I will choke you."
That's so funny. My sisters-in-law and I use that voice to make fun of my brother-in-law whenever
Okay.
I'm around. Yeah.
We got Sapphire here. Sapphire, I'm going to ask you 3 preliminary questions and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18 years old?
Hi, yes, I'm 24.
All right. And what pronouns do you go by?
She, her.
And are you a theist or an atheist?
I'm a theist.
What flavor?
I'm kind of like, I oscillate between like Christian and just theist.
All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I'm an atheist. What would you like to talk about?
So I did come up, and I really apologize if I've wasted your time. I did want to ask, is this like a debate live where I have to show proof of God, or I can just ask you questions?
It's both, right? Usually we do debates,
Oh.
but today is just a talk. So if you want to debate something, you're allowed to debate. If you want to ask me questions, you can ask me questions.
Okay, so I did want to ask, do you ever sometimes when you're like maybe having a bad day or you're nervous about something, do you ever get like the urge to pray? And if so, like, how do you deal with that?
I personally don't get the urge to pray. When I'm feeling bad, I watch funny YouTube videos. That's how I get through it. I know that
Oh,
sounds super.
okay.
That might
Oh,
sound
that's
super simple, but that is just how I cope with sadness. Or I'll message someone that makes me happy, something like that.
Oh, okay, that's really sweet. That's a good thing to do. For me, it's just kind of like whenever there's something that's kind of out of the locus of my control, it kind of helps me to feel like good and calm when I'm praying, because it always makes me feel like there's someone who's like out there who's taking care of me, you know?
Meditation also works as well. It's been proven to help relieve stress and give emotional support. So I would also suggest meditation as a viable pathway towards relief.
I'd say that
Oh, yeah,
the fact
true.
that you get that feeling when you pray, I think it's because of how meditative it is. From our view, you're really just talking to yourself, and that's kind of what you tend to do when you meditate. You're in your thoughts, you're thinking them through, and you're being hopeful. So you're putting yourself in a hopeful position.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can I say? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. If I could give my opinion too.
Go ahead, Glorp. Like your name.
Yeah, Glorp. Thank you. I was very creative when I came up with it. No, I've done a lot of meditation. I have a lot of experience with this. It is a great thing. It is kind of just the essence of what prayer is. Coming from the perspective that you're coming from.
Right.
Keep
Yeah.
doing it. If you like, if that's something you need, definitely keep doing it, because the regular practice, the time to yourself, like that alone is something great. But the intention behind just like really focusing on letting go of everything around you. I probably sound like a stoned idiot right now, but
No, you don't.
But no, like meditation, it really is great. I've got ADHD out the wazoo, and at one point when I was very young, I stopped medication and I got into meditation.
Meditation over medication.
Yeah, not always a great idea. I'm not
It's a
saying
t-shirt.
I'm not saying stop your your meds or anything. But for me, at one point, I needed it, and I was both, I had lost religion, and I had decided, hey, these meds don't do a thing for me. But no, yeah, just sitting there, like having some kind of spiritual practice, just managing yourself. It's a great thing. Whether or not you believe
Oh
that
yeah.
you're connecting with a god or not, like whatever.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Glor, because I'm actually also like a certified yoga instructor, and so as
Ah,
part of my course, we did a lot of learning about meditation and things like that.
mhm.
And yeah, it is amazing. It works really well for some people, not really for everyone. I would say for me, I personally work better with prayer, but that's just me. That might not be for everyone. I would say that like when you talked about medication, I would just say that I do think prayer can be really good for people, but I don't think that it should be used to like replace professional help. Like, for example,
Oh,
if someone's going
absolutely.
through like some mental health issues and things like that, then you should definitely go see a therapist. I really don't like it when people try and use God to prevent someone from getting like medical care, like
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of like vaccines and stuff like that. That's wrong. That's really wrong. Also, hi, Satyam.
Huh.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, I guess the point I was trying to say, yeah, prayer, whatever it is, it's kind of a form of meditation, whether or not you're, communing with a god or just being with yourself. Like, take that time to just, deconstruct your own thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, no, that was my only question for you, because like there have been certain points where I was just kind of like, oh, this really helps me. I wonder how people who are not. Oh, okay, maybe one very last quick question. I hope I'm not taking up too much of your time, but do you ever sometimes get scared of like the thought of unaliving and then just not existing, like ceasing to exist? Because that's something that really really terrifies me. I don't know if there's an afterlife, but
I when I first deconstructed and it was moving away from beliefs about the afterlife, I had already started to slowly, when I was a Christian, I rejected the idea of heaven and hell as an eternal life sort of situation. And I basically am I'm just a very practical thinker, I think, is the problem. And it might be the tism, or I don't know, but I just sort of see death as it's going to happen regardless of whether or not I want it to or not. So the best thing to do is to just like live in the now. And, once it happens, I won't really worry about it anymore.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes so much sense, because for me it was like, okay, so if I'm lucky, I'll get about 80 years on this earth and then it's over, so I might as well try and enjoy as much time with my family as possible.
Yep,
uh
absolutely.
but
Precisely.
thank you so much, and have a good day, and God bless you, or science bless you.
Okay, you have a wonderful day.
Science bless us all.
I remember when the whole science bless us thing was a popular saying. I just prefer "May the Force be with you" because,
Oh yeah, I
it's
love
fun.
that one.
Yeah, or the Schwartz. May the Schwartz be with you.
I love May the Force be with you, specifically because my cousins are Methodists. So there's all that like, oh, Christ be with you and with you too, like stuff.
Yeah,
He is risen indeed, that you get in the Protestant circles.
they do
So I've
that.
loved just
They do.
replacing it.
They do that in the Catholic Church too.
In
Yeah.
which church?
Catholic Church.
Oh yeah. But yeah, everybody, the call and response. Yeah.
Yeah. Sathyam. I'm going to ask you 3 questions and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And question number 3, are you theist or atheist?
I am an atheist. Sorry.
All right.
Just quick 2 questions.
Yeah. What brings you up?
Alrighty. 2 questions. first one about hyperkomos. I think 1 Corinthians 7:36 regarding the if you have a pressing desire to have intercourse with your, and if you read the KJV, it says newly flowered, but the NRSV takes that out, and I found that a little deceptive because I looked it up as like hyperkomos or something, which is like
let me take
better, so,
let me take a look at the Greek. Let me take a look. 1 Corinthians 7 verse 36. Is that it? Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Hyperakmos. Hyperakmos.
Is that what you said?
Say what?
Hyperakmos?
Yeah,
Is that the way you say that?
Yeah, hyperakmos. Or actually, no, this is an upsilon. So, I mean, it depends on traditional Greek huperakmos, more modern Greek hyperakmos, but most scholars, most scholars tend to, use modern Greek pronunciation. So from the Greek hyper, and let's see, akmein, which means to appoint. No, that's the here. Let me actually. The best way to do this would probably be, I got a new tool. Everyone, you can thank Ian from allegedly Ian for this, but I got myself a BDAG lexicon, so we're just gonna look to the BDAG and see what it says. Give it a second for it to load in.
Goated debater.
Yeah, he gave me they gave me $190 to buy myself a copy of the BDAG lexicon. All right, let's see.
So, yeah, I guess academia is in this field.
All right, let's see. Logos. Whoa, that is a bit too big on the YouTube side. Let me see how I fix that. Oh, that's because last night I used the YouTube as my background because I had Lord of the Rings playing. All right, there we go. All right, and go to my library, lexicons. And let's see. Upsilon. And then Upsilon Pi. Hypel, Hypem, Hypen, Hyper. Let's see, Hyper. We're almost there. Hyperakmos. Here we go. Hyperakmos. From Akmein, highest point or prime of a person's development. Depending on one's understanding of this passage, the term may apply either to a woman or to a man. Understood temporally and as a status term applied to a woman, past one's prime, past marriageable age, past the bloom of youth.
That's what the KJV uses.
Speaks of the akmein tes alikies of a woman in verse 34 and 30. All right. Yeah, that seems to be commensurate with the father, Parthenos, who, because of the smallness of her dowry, yeah, I mean, it seems to refer, a flower of her youth is probably the more appropriate rendering here.
So NRSV doing some bullshit?
Yeah, let's see how did they render in the NRSV right here.
It removes that entirely.
And what does it replace it with here? What verse was it?
Shit. 1 Corinthians 7:36. Sorry, 7:36.
All right, 7:36. 1 Corinthians. Why? Oh, no one else. Why the heck is it not have their? Okay, I was in the wrong chapter. Verse 36. But if someone stands firm in his resolve, being under no necessity. Oh wait, verse 36. If anyone thinks that he is behaving indecently towards his fiancée, if his passions are strong, And so it has to be let him marry as he wishes. It is no sin. Let them marry. And the word it's using here is fiance. Yeah, I don't think that's
Fiance. That's what it says. Yeah.
yeah. I would say that that's not quite accurate.
Yeah. Okay. So NRSV is that more accurate? I haven't seen that one.
Oh
yet.
no, I mean typically the New Revised Standard Version updated edition is preferable. It's just like no translation is perfect. So, while the NRSV contains less flaws than the average translation, it was still going to have some flaws. So, like, that's just going to be one of the few flaws.
Okay, I thought maybe I'd heard on the offhand that NRSV.
Real quick.
What was that, Glorp?
Just real quick with a question for what is it, Safine?
You're very
Satyam.
you're very faint.
Oh, hello. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask
it's
question?
it's a thing. I was just obviously we're learning a lot about translations here and stuff. I don't know how to say this without sounding like combative. What is the point that you're kind of trying to get to about all these translation differences?
When I talk, so I host lives too. Obviously nowhere near on these guys' level. So I bring up these points when I debate Christians and Muslims on child rape and whatnot. So yeah, that's why I want to make sure I have an accurate understanding.
All right. Well, yeah, there
good?
you go. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just a
next
lot
one.
being said. I was just curious. I was like, wait. What is the like purpose of conversation here?
Yeah.
Lots been said.
Okay. I don't know. I would assume it's self-evident, but yeah, I'm happy to clarify anything more if you need. And then the second one is
Yeah, but
Ezekiel
if you
4.
explain it.
Ezekiel 4
12. So the one about poop eating. Now, my question for you is like it says,
Which verse?
like I've 4:12 and onwards, I think up till 19, where I'm going to cause you to eat
dung.
your bread with dung. First human, and then he rescinds and says animal. I think cow.
Yeah.
Now, I was like looking into this because, okay, dung is fuel. Now, it doesn't make sense because human dung doesn't contain enough methane to serve as a fuel. And the part that caught my eye was it says, never has this been defiled by, dung. So that implies that the dung is somehow touching the actual food. And like I was like reading into this, I stumbled on some random off chance thing which was saying like they would make some sort of patty cake kind of situation with cow dung, and it would act as a way like a convection oven, I guess, like it would cook it from inside out, so it was actually touching the food. I don't know how true that is, but I thought maybe you being a Bible scholar or whatever could
Well, to be clear, I don't consider myself a Bible scholar. I'm a Bible scholarship communicator. And as regards to the specific,
and I defer to it, so whatever it is, yeah.
Well, I'd have to look into that, because if there are many things in the Bible that I've looked a lot into. How Ezekiel cooked his bread with shit is definitely not top of the list of the things that I've prioritized. But now you've piqued my interest.
Well, just some background, like, I don't know if you can tell from my name, I'm of Indian origin, so Christians, Muslims, they like to come up and immediately start racist diatribes. So I immediately go here. I think consuming excrement is disgusting. What do you think? Your God thinks it's okay, and so on. So anyway, that's the background. But yeah, thank you, man. That's all. That's the only. If you ever do find out, I would love to know. Maybe I'll pop by sometime. But
absolutely, I'll look into it later today.
Thank you so much for having me up. Thank you for the questions. Take care, guys.
And on a completely unrelated note, fuck the state of Israel and free Palestine. Okay, we're gonna bring up Rainbow of the Most High. Rainbow of the Most High, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions and then we'll get into the conversation. Are you at least 18 years old?
I am. You are correct on that.
And question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
What prompts? What is it?
Pronouns.
Oh, I have none. Is that enforceable or?
That's inaccurate.
I don't need to have pronouns, right? Correct.
But you're saying that
Are you
that,
a he or a her?
Yeah, you're saying that
I am what you see here is I am what you see here is smell, taste, feel. That's all I am.
So do you go by he, him, she, her, or they, them?
If you see a pronouns in my picture, that means that I am a pronouns. If you do not see a pronouns, that means
you are yourself not a pronoun. You have pronouns.
I am a pronoun.
Like I said, I don't have. Do you see any?
I see a beard, so I'm assuming he, him.
I'm not going to assume.
Also, the audacity.
I'm just going to assume that they're an idiot. I am pronoun. I don't know what that means.
I am pronoun.
It's going to be the name of my fucking biography. I am pronoun.
I'm about to release a rap album with that title.
Yeah.
Right now.
He says, enjoy the deception. The deception of the English language. Fuck them pronouns.
Wait. He ran away from a live and then left a comment.
Oh, he didn't run. I kicked him.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Well, he came back. He wanted another spanking.
Yeah. Well, fun fact, you only get to talk to the Bible guy if you answer the Bible guy's first 3 questions. There you go.
Fair enough.
Coco Yu in the comment section. I saw you were saying something earlier to me, but I wasn't paying attention.
Become a baby or a tiger?
All right. We have here 5 soft. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18 years old?
Depends on what culture you're asking, but yes, I would be.
Have you circled the sun 18 times at least?
Well, I would just ask in what geographic location.
Anywhere on the planet.
Then yes, I have.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Any and all. But if you're asking on like a day-to-day basis, what I would traditionally preferably like to go by, I would just say, you could say he, him, but I would not denounce
you. And are you an atheist or a theist?
I would say I would be more towards what you would classify, well, under your worldview, I'd say as more of a theist.
Are all your answers going to be like this?
Well, I just want to be thorough, and I want to be thorough with you.
Sure. I'm Dalton
Thorough
the
and
Bible
superfluous
guy.
are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm Dalton the Bible guy. I'm an atheist. What do you want to talk about?
My name is Five Soft. I'm from Ocean City, New Jersey. Thank you. Pleasure to meet you.
Don't dock yourself, bud.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is that one of those platforms where like people don't like people here? Or? Anyway, I am not from Ocean City, New Jersey. I am from Hawaii.
Sure. Anyways.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I want to talk about religion with you.
Sure. What about it?
Why do you believe that? Well, not why do you believe you're an atheist? You just obviously suspend judgment on God.
I said, make me believe.
Yeah, I would say.
Wait, are you saying that, or is he saying that?
I haven't been convinced of the existence of any gods, so I'm not religious.
Oh, okay, so you aren't convinced, but you're open to it. You're open to it, though.
Yep, I'm open to any evidence for a god.
All right, so you wouldn't be an atheist. You're an agnostic.
No, I'm an agnostic atheist. Those aren't mutually exclusive propositions.
I think they would be mutually. Yeah, they are.
They're not.
They aren't.
As long as you lack a belief, I don't currently hold to a positive belief in a deity. I lack a belief in a god, and that's the bare requirement to be an atheist.
But if you don't, but you're just suspending judgment on God. You're not denouncing God.
But do I believe in a god?
You're open to it.
But do I believe in a god?
As of now?
Yeah.
This is basic semantics. Dude.
Yeah. The word atheist means a without theos, theism, without God. I don't have a belief in God, therefore I'm an atheist. And I don't hold it. I'm not a Gnostic atheist, meaning I don't hold the position that I know for a fact there is no God. I'm an agnostic atheist, meaning I don't believe in a God, but I could be wrong. I don't have absolute knowledge.
Okay. Are you looking for like a type of argument you're looking for?
Anything that raises the probability that the likelihood that a God exists.
Yeah, I would just say. Yeah, sure. So I would just say temporal states, and they presuppose an instantiation point.
Whoa. So is this going to be a philosophical argument?
Oh, that's why I was asking you. Are you arguing off the Bible, or are you doing philosophy?
Well, it's what you want to do, bud. But if it's philosophy, I need to know.
Well, I was going to go down a philosophical route. I'm assuming your name is the Bible guy, so you want to use the Bible.
All right. So my rule for philosophy is that, so we have what's called the Philbro rule book. This is the rule book that Philbros must abide by if they want to do. Unless Sticks wants to come up, because I'll forego the philosophy, the Philbro rule book if Sticks wants to come up and have the conversation.
What's a Philbro?
These are baby philosophers on TikTok, but it looks like Sticks wants to come up, so I will forego the Philbro rulebook. Go ahead, Sticks. I'll let you cover this.
Wait, I was reading the rules though. Where's the rules at? Can I see the rules again?
It doesn't matter because Sticks is here now, so the rules are irrelevant now. Sticks, you go ahead and you can cover this.
Hey guys. Yeah. So was there an argument there, Five?
Hi, Sticks. How are you doing? My name is Five Soft.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Are you asking for the argument? I haven't presented a formal argument yet. I just kind of was just making a statement, I guess. I just think that I was saying that I think that temporal states do it they presuppose a instantiation point or a starting point.
Do you know what any of those words mean?
No, I don't. Which one are you asking if I know what I Wait, which are you asking if I know what it means? Which words?
Do you know what temporal means or instantiation?
Yeah, instantiation. An instantiation point is a point where something was put into place, or it's a starting point, if you will. Temporal means it's basically within time. So a temporal state would be me and you having this conversation. There's point A and there's point B. That is a temporal state. Okay, you have atemporal.
Big superfluous words to say something happened.
Yeah, here, Glorp.
At some point.
Glorp. Let's let Sticks take care of this one. He's our resident Philbro.
We're already starting it off so bad. He's just asking me.
You're starting it off bad, but I'll let Sticks take it away.
He's asking me if I know what words mean.
Because
you don't.
I just
okay. Hold on. Let's just start slowly here. So, so if you said temporal states presuppose some sort of temporal start, right? Temporal states presuppose some temporal start.
Well, correct. So I'm making the argument essentially that temporal states. I mean, you asked me if I'm sorry. Do you want me to explain what these words mean, or are we past that?
I'm fine with the terms, assuming we're not being idiosyncratic here. But what I'm asking you is, when you say a temporal state presupposes a temporal start, are you saying that there's a start to that particular state, or are you talking more so on the theory of time and the
Sure. It's great question. No, I'm not saying that temporal states. When I'm saying an instantiation point, I'm not saying that us having this conversation had to have a starting point. I'm saying that in order for us to have this conversation, there have had to have been, under Bible Guy's worldview, an infinite amount of traversing events that got us to this point in time. So I'm making the argument that in order to get to point A,
incorrect.
The beginning of a
Don't assume
right.
You don't.
I'm sorry. Am I talking to Sticks or you? Am I talking to Sticks?
I'm just saying, if you're going to say the Bible Guy's position, let's not talk about the Bible Guy's position. You're talking to Sticks. I don't believe you have to traverse an infinite, but continue conversation.
Okay, so he doesn't hold to that. So then I guess he would just hold to what again, now I'm having a conversation with Bible Guy, not you. When I'm making the statement that temporal states imply or presuppose a instantiation point, I'm saying that in order for us to get to this very moment, there would have had to have been a point where time began in and of itself.
Okay, so
something happened.
Just to be clear, time beginning, I don't know what that means, right? Time beginning, some sort of beginning. Are you saying that there has to be a first moment in time in order to have moments in time?
I believe there has to be a first moment in time, but I also believe that matter in and of itself also isn't eternal. So matter in and of itself also would have had to have had a beginning. Yeah.
Okay, what would be the argument for that?
Sure. For which one? Matter, or for time, or for both?
Well, you started with time. Let's start with time. What's going to be, do you take it to be the case that under logical modality, it's impossible for there to be an infinite regress of moments?
Yeah. Do you want an actual formal? I mean, if you're asking for a formal argument, I can put one together. Or are you asking me just to give you what are you asking for?
Well, so I asked you if you're taking it to be the case under a logical modality that it's not possible. When we're talking about possible and impossible, we're talking about a modal scope, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And are you saying it's not possible for there to be an infinite regress?
Correct, because I am able to, I can actually demonstrate for you right now that an actual infinite is impossible, but you could not do the contrary. So that's the problem. So I
And
can actually
wait, are
right
you
now
saying
on this
when you say
slide.
actual infinities you're talking about as opposed
What would be the contrary?
Correct. I don't have. Sorry, who's talking? Is it Glorp or is it Sticks?
that
Here,
would
here, Glorp, just
Well,
let
came off mute.
let Sticks carry that one. He's got it.
Okay, so Sticks, I'm sorry, Sticks. Can you please repeat what you were asking me?
Are you saying that actual infinities are not possible?
Correct. And I can demonstrate it for you right now. Yes.
Well, let me ask you quickly. You do believe in a god, right? A god with a mind?
I believe a God in mind. Yes, correct.
Okay. How many mathematical facts does God know?
Would be an infinite amount.
Okay, that's an actual infinity.
Wait, there's a problem. So are we speaking in regards to God, or are we speaking in regards to agents acting?
Well, presumably God is an agent, but what you're saying is that actual infinities are not possible, and I just demonstrated that an actual infinity is possible in your paradigm.
Sure. So yeah, I can explain this to you this way. I'm going to explain this to you in a way where everybody understands, okay? So God can exist in an infinite state, okay? I'm explaining to you that God is the instantiation point, okay? I'm making the claim here that God is the instantiation point. You would then just ask me after that, what is God? Well, God would therefore be infinite. The problem here is what we're speaking about is what we can actually demonstrate and put into place in actual as free agents acting and what we actually have available to us. Now, I'll just ask this question to you, Sticks, and you can respond. Who created the computer? And this is, by the way, this isn't going to be an elementary argument. I'm just asking you the question for there's a reason. Who created the computer?
Presumably humans, yeah.
Great. Do computers operate off binary coding, 1 and 0s?
I'm not a computer expert, but that's my understanding, yes.
Sure. So, and again, this isn't going to be elementary arguments. I'm asking you for a reason, okay? So the computer operates off of 1s and 0s. Does the computer understand anything outside of 1s and 0s?
Well, it's kind of a loaded question when you're saying, does a computer understand? Are you saying, does a computer operate based on a system that is something other than 1s and 0s?
Also,
or are you saying,
yes.
are you
Also,
adding agency to the computer?
Also, I'm also being informed that there are computers that don't work off of binary. So
right. So give me the computer that operates off of non-binary code that can operate outside of that. But wait, just a minute. Wait, Bible guy, before I respond to that, just a minute. I don't want to get all too far off track. Sticks. I'm just asking you for the most part, because Bible guy is going to bring something else into this, which we'll talk about in a minute. Can a computer operate off of 1s and 0s, or does it go past that?
Well, apparently Quantonaut, who probably knows a lot more about this than I do, is saying that there are other types of computers like that.
I'm not referring to like quantum computers, things like that. What I'm referring to is when you press the F key on a keyboard, you have a binary code that's sent out for the F key, okay? And it operates off of a 1 and 0, okay, of a binary number, okay? I'm only asking you for this reason. The computer itself only understands things within its confines, okay? The computer cannot operate outside of its confines. It only understands what is within it, what it is programmed to do. In the same way, the actual human or a free agent acting understands things within its confines or time as we understand it, but there was an instantiation point outside of it. The same way the computer has an instantiation point. I plug the motherboard in. I then plug in the actual video card, the power supply, the CPU. It turns on. Wait, listen, there's a reason I'm saying this. So you're now asking me about God. You're saying, is God infinite? Well, God is infinite, okay? God
to
is
be clear,
infinite.
to be clear, computers don't understand things. That's not how computers work.
They understand their programming. They communicate. It communicates through its programming, okay? When I'm saying understand, I'm using it through communication through its programming, okay?
In this analogy, are you equivocating on the computer's like operating system with that of the universe and like the time scale by which the universe is, bound to?
No, I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is I'm giving.
So
you
what
an
is the analogy? Like what is it meant to analogize here? What is the computer meant to represent in this example?
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, the computer is giving you an example where something can operate within a system, okay, that has an outside instantiation point, something that actually causes it to exist, okay, and then there is certain confines it operates within. So the computer itself, it understands what it understands within its actual programming, within binary, but there is something that caused it an outside source, a human being.
That would be nice,
but you can actually simulate like quantum computing or trinary bits on a classical binary computer. So you can use a binary computer to simulate things that are not in the hardware of that computer.
Okay, so two things. I can have a conversation with you about this, okay, with quantum computing. The problem is, I don't know why you're smiling, Bible guy, because you brought somebody up here, and now you have somebody else up here too. And it's 1 on 3.
I mean, you made a claim, and I brought in an expert that would know better than you and me both together.
You seem really mad, dude.
How am I mad? I'm actually speaking like perfectly fine. I'm not mad at all. What are you talking about?
No, you're mad.
I'm sorry. How am I? How
we don't
am I
need
mad?
meta. We don't need meta, guys. Just.
Yeah.
How is this? It's not meta. I'm sorry. It is meta. I'm sorry. They're causing. They're actually.
Anyways, I'm
doing meta.
just a relevant expert in this field. I'm getting a PhD degree in particle and nuclear physics.
Yeah. So essentially, you're making the argument for quantum computing. How does quantum computing make an argument against what I'm talking about? Because it still doesn't. It's still quantum
because you
computing
can simulate
predict.
it inside of a classical computer.
Right, it can simulate it, but what can it not do?
Is this a? Sorry,
like your argument was that like computers can't comprehend what's outside of their hardware, which, by the way, I don't think that's properly defined what it means for a computer to understand something. But like my point is that you can have like the software in a computer process cases that are beyond its actual hardware. So for example, like maybe an even simpler example is that computers are 3-dimensional objects, but you can very easily do math in a computer describing how the 4th dimension works or 5th or so on.
Wait, I'm sorry. Are you dude, listen, okay. Can I speak to quantum now instead of sticks? Who am I speaking to now? Because to have productive dialogue, I need to talk to one person, not 2 or 3.
Jesus Christ.
Look, it's not like we're talking over each other or throwing
but we were having a
different points at you.
conversation.
Right?
Okay, so I mean, I guess we're on the same. I guess we haven't really pivoted too hard. So I'll answer your question. Quantum, there's a problem here, okay? In quantum computing, okay, yes, it can theorize, okay? Can it actually do what you were suggesting?
Well, I mean, it doesn't actually
No,
exist
answer the
in 5
question. I'm
dimensions.
saying,
It's not.
Listen, I'm saying that in quantum computer, in quantum computing, it can theorize. Yes
A
or no?
quantum computer can do it better, but you can still do all the necessary calculations on a regular classical computer.
Sure. Okay. Can quantum
It's
computing?
just not as good at it.
What do you mean not as
It
good?
can just
What
do
do
it
you mean?
slower.
What do you mean by that?
Like it takes more processing power to do the same calculation.
Where does the processing power come from?
It comes from the computer, the hardware.
No. What is it called that gives a quantum computing system its power? It's the same for all computers.
Energy?
What is it called?
I don't know what
No,
the
it's the
question
same
is.
thing. What is it called? A PS. What's a PS?
A PS?
It's a power supply. Oh my fuck's sake.
Yeah, sure. They're both are supplied by voltage.
Okay. Oh my. Okay. So the quantum computing requires a power supply, right?
Same as a normal computer.
Okay. Get rid of the power supply. What happens?
The computer turns off.
The same thing that happens to your brain.
Yeah, like
Wait,
I don't see
I'm
how
confused.
the relevance to this.
Wait, I'm confused. Are you coming for me with attacks because you don't understand what I'm talking about?
Oh, it's a direct analogy. Like the same thing
No,
happens to your
you don't
brain.
understand what you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't see the
confused.
relevance
I'm
of this
confused.
line of questioning.
it's
Because the whole
it's
it seemed
definitely
like your
relevant.
argument. It seemed like your argument was that objects are unable to comprehend things that are beyond their like hardware capabilities. But I'm telling you that that's not really the case. Like we can comprehend things beyond the not the limitations of our hardware, but beyond the actual features of the hardware itself.
So let me ask you. Let's
we
get
can
back
comprehend
to linear.
higher dimensional objects, even though we are
Can I at
3-dimensional.
least explain to you why I mentioned the power supply? Because you guys don't seem to understand even where I'm going with this, and it's kind of getting out of hand. The reason I mentioned the power supply is that if it doesn't have the power supply, the actual quantum computing doesn't even operate, okay? So therefore, the power supply is put into place by what? Quantum?
What do you mean put in place? That's just
What-
how the quantum
It's
computers
put
are
in place
designed.
by the human engineers that build it.
Thank you. Oh my God,
Yeah.
thank you. There you go. There, the guy below me
Okay.
actually understands it. Great.
Sure,
So
you have to set up the computer properly.
okay, great.
That's the
So
point.
my example. So everything.
Is
you
this
just
an
mentioned-
argument that a god exists because quantum computers needs humans to build them?
Are you not tracking, dude? Are you not tracking at all, Glorp? I think that
I
this
don't
guy's
think
like,
you're explaining
I'm
your point
trying.
very
You're
well.
just not
all due respect, all due
explaining
respect.
anything
One,
correctly.
one person at a time. One person at a time.
Yeah,
everyone.
thank you. Well, I think if I'm the only person up here, I should be able to speak a little bit more than you guys. Glorp, my advice to you is let Styx and Quantum, who actually seem to have a brain, and
Okay,
Bible Guy talk.
whoa. No attacking my audience. My guest. Don't do that.
Oh, but they can attack me? They can attack me, though?
There'll be no
I
more-
asked you a question.
Just to be clear, there will be no more attacking right now, and no more complaining
Of anybody or just them?
of anybody. No, I will.
Nobody
give
is
cheese to the-
attacking you.
I will be giving cheese to the next
Thank
person
you.
who whines. All right, now continue
good.
with the conversation.
Nice.
So let's get back to the original inference that you were making there, Five. And it's easier maybe instead of kind of like the leading questions, it's easier if you maybe just make the inference instead of like asking, well, who plugs in a computer? Like just tell us what you're thinking and then we can kind of skip some steps here, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So
that's why
what
I
is
asked
the
you if
inference
you
you're
wanted-
making?
That's why I asked you if you wanted a formal argument or if you wanted me to just explain to you with an example, and then you brought 3 other people up, so I couldn't do that.
Okay, well if you want to give the formal argument, yeah, that might help just to stay
Yeah,
linear.
sure. I mean, yeah, I'm okay with putting together a formal argument for you, but yeah, you want me to do an argument for why time can't be eternal? Sure. All right, fine. Let's see here.
Is this going to be a syllogism?
Yeah, I can give you a syllogism. I'll have to put it together. Just give me a minute.
I hope it's compatible with the B theory of time.
Of course, yeah. It'll be all inclusive. I can do that. That's fine.
All right, here. Let me just.
But
pull,
look, can I
I'll pull
So an
this
argument's
up.
fine, but I asked you earlier, Five, if it's easier, right? You said it's not possible. And when we're invoking the term possible, impossible, we're working within some sort of modal scope. And I'm asking, when you say it's not possible for there to be an infinite regress, typically what's asked of an interlocutor is to provide a contradiction, right? A proposition and its negation to show that it's not possible. Are you able to do that, or do you want to go about this a different way?
Yeah. So again, are you asking it in a formal argument, or do you want me to just give an example of the contradiction?
A contradiction would be easier. I mean, if you have a formal argument too, that might help. But usually, a formal argument is going to, in showing an impossibility, it's going to entail some sort of contradiction. So if you have the contradiction, that might be easier.
Yeah. Can I just write it out and give it to you? One second. Let me just. I'm thinking how.
Sure, yeah. What would the
properly?
So what would the contradiction be of an infinite regress or an infinite set of antecedent moments?
Okay, let me think here. One second, just give me a minute.
Every argument that I've heard about this is incompatible with eternalism. So I'd be very curious to see how your argument addresses this.
It appears as though we're firing up ChatGPT to render an argument, but we'll wait and see.
We shall see. ChatGPT, make no
One second
mistakes.
here, guys. And you said you wanted to include B theory of time, which is essentially you're saying internalism.
Eternalism, yes. That all moments of time are equally real.
But there's no ontologically privileged now.
Yeah. And this is something that is like experimentally confirmed, by the way, which is how I'm relating it back to physics.
Which, by the way, while everyone's waiting, if you ever get a chance to, there's a great video on this topic by the group called
Kurzgesagt.
There we go.
Kurzgesagt.
Just type in how time works and then in a nutshell. Great little video on the block theory of time.
I actually haven't seen that one yet, but they usually do good science, so I trust that they did it well.
Yeah.
But if anybody wants to look up a more rigorous like proof of this, it's called the relativity of simultaneity,
The
That
relativity of
confirms this.
simultaneity.
And on the Wikipedia
Okay,
page
so
of relativity of simultaneity, they have a great little GIF on the image that you can click to see kind of, at least on like an axis, kind of how it works. But sorry, Five, go ahead.
Oh, nice.
I just want to make sure I'm writing this down. So when you're using B theory, Tom, I want to make sure you're using it the right way, or at least the same way that I'm using it. You're basically saying that it would just basically be like all moments exist equally. So like basically you're saying like the past, anything like future, present.
Yeah, there is nothing special about the present.
Okay.
And a good way to think of it, Five, is that like through the relativity of simultaneity, what we know is that based on the inertial reference frame of the observer, the current now or the present you can experience the same event at two different points in time. That's kind of
or
what it's saying.
Or more specifically, two events that may seem simultaneous to one observer might happen in the past and then in the future for a different observer, meaning that there is no universal present. The main point of this is that in relativity, you treat time in very much the same way you mathematically treat space. So in the same way 2 points of space can coexist, 2 points in time can also coexist.
Right, but you would just argue basically. I mean, I'll give you a contradiction. But you would just basically say that like basically nothing is being traversed in a block universe.
Oh yeah, no. The perception of traversing is something of an illusion from our point of view. The past version of you and the future version of you exist just as much as the now version of you, but you can only remember the past version.
Similar to the way a point in like a spatial dimension is equally real to another point in a spatial dimension, right? Even though maybe you're only experiencing one of those points.
Yep. And the reason why you only remember the past and not the future has to do with something called the arrow of time, which is related to like entropy and thermodynamics, mostly.
And again, if I can butt in, Fivesoft, what is the point that you're trying to reach via your misunderstanding of quantum physics or whatever?
Wait, Glorp, again.
Well, this is
you're
relativity,
not,
by the way.
Glorp, yeah, Glorp, you're not, yeah, jeez.
Or sorry, not quantum. Yeah, no, relativity is not quantum.
Glorp, just stay on mute, please.
Sorry.
Thank you. It's all right. The other people are actually making sense. That didn't make any sense at all. Anyway, okay, so...
no, I'm just asking what your point is.
All right, yeah.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Listen, they understand what I'm trying to say. I think you're just not tracking.
We all understand what you're saying.
Well,
I'm just asking what
my understanding is that you're trying to show that there's a contradiction with saying that the past goes infinitely far, even in the B theory of time.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Anyway,
so what would that contradiction be?
Yeah, so I would just say that. Well, again, I'll give you a simple argument, simplistic argument, but you're just going to basically. I already said what your objection is going to be. But I would just say that, like, would you agree that to arrive at like this moment, like I said earlier, and infinitely like earlier events would already exist before it, right?
No, that's not how the B theory of time works. There is no traversal. All moments are equally real together.
Yeah, so you're basically just saying no completion process is going to be required because all times like basically coexist, like tenses.
They're all equally realized. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean the problem. There's still a contradiction with that because the problem is that you're using like entropy. So I'm just going to basically say like if time were okay. So if
wait,
time
what's
were,
the contradiction?
Yeah, because I would just say
I think you know where he's going. Let him go, and we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, I was basically just going to say the problem here is going to be is that if time were eternal into the past and like if the universe like operated eternally under like like thermodynamics, okay, people would just argue that like there's going to be obviously a heat death. I mean, you obviously heard that before, so obviously the problem is it should.
No, I'm aware of this. So do you know about the limitations of the laws of thermodynamics?
Well, you're going to say that dark matter operates or can survive.
No, not dark matter. No,
dark energy.
That's not what I'm going to say.
Okay, what would it be?
So firstly, do you know what the requirements that need to be satisfied are in order for the laws of thermodynamics to apply to a system?
Well, it depends. In a closed system or open?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. It has to be in the thermodynamic definition. What is a closed or open system?
Well, yeah. I mean, basically, so for thermodynamics, basically to apply to like a system, depending how we're using it, it's just going to basically just need like huge like amounts of particles, like just atoms or whatever molecules.
That's one. The limit of large particles.
Yeah, it's going to need
large number of particles. But the relevant law here is that energy has to be conserved. In whatever system you're talking about, energy has to be a conserved quantity in order for these rules to apply. However, very famously, on cosmological scales, energy is not conserved. And so, therefore, when we talk about...
Not in cosmology, though.
Yeah, no, in cosmology, energy is not conserved.
No, it's
In fact,
assumed. No. In cosmology, it's assumed because the system
No.
has like time translation symmetry.
Nope, it does not.
It does,
Famously,
though.
it does not have time translation symmetry.
That's Noether's theorem, dude.
Yeah, I know that's Noether's theorem. It specifically, Noether developed this theory to show that it doesn't apply in general relativity.
Okay, so what you're saying that photons don't lose energy through redshift?
They do. That's my point. Energy is not conserved. Photons lose energy as they travel over cosmological distances. This shows that the laws of thermodynamics do not apply as they are written.
Yeah, but
they need to be modified.
Right, but for thermodynamics, local conservation laws are usually enough.
But my point is that on cosmological timescales, you can't assume that energy is conserved because it's very explicitly not conserved.
And the problem we're running into is that you said that there's a contradiction entailed, right? I still haven't really heard the contradiction, but moreover, there are cosmological models like geodesically complete models with entropy and like conformal cyclic models with conformal scaling events and all these kind of different models that can kind of reconcile these quote unquote issues with entropy. And none of them entail the universe, not our.
All right. So I mean, the problem is these conversations typically always go off on a rabbit trail. So now, like having a completely different conversation, I can go back to that. But I just want to ask one last question. That's quantum. No, I did.
You brought up entropy.
So I wanted to ask one last question before I.
Yes.
No, I did. I was having a good conversation. But
Why are we down a rabbit hole that I dug?
What do you mean? I was arguing that I want to have this conversation I'm currently having.
Ask your question, please.
Wait, but Styx asked to bring it back. You guys are just saying things that don't make sense. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, so I would just ask but what about local energy conservation? Okay, that exists in general relativity. Okay, so the problem is that
over small distances and timescales, yes, energy can be assumed to be conserved. But when we're talking about the creation of the universe as a whole, or just cosmological timescales or distance scales in general, it cannot be assumed.
Yeah, right. No, but what you just said though does show that cosmological energy conservation is not going to be identical to the ordinary closed box physics intuition. It isn't going to work that way. So in general,
that's my point. So you can't argue that over an infinite amount of time, entropy will just keep going up, because entropy is not even a well-defined quantity on cosmological scales.
Okay, just to be clear, I just want to make sure I'm understanding. We are distinguishing local conservation and global conservation, right?
Sure.
So local obviously still is true in standard physics.
Well, it's not true. It's just it can be approximated as such.
On
small timescales, the change in energy over time is minimal. So you can assume that it's constant, and therefore the laws of thermodynamics apply as normal. But over very, very long, billions of years, you can no longer make that assumption, and therefore you can't really use the definitions of entropy as they are defined. You have to modify them.
Okay, yeah, but I'm just confused. I thought you're basically just making the argument that energy is conserved.
I very explicitly said that it's not on cosmological scales.
Sorry, not conserved. I'm sorry, not conserved. I apologize. Yeah, I said it wrong.
Right.
You're saying it's not conserved. Okay.
It's not conserved.
Okay, so then that being said, in regards to entropy relations and things like that, also for the people in the chat saying that we don't know what we're talking about, or I don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know
you shouldn't read the comments.
Don't read the
Because
comments.
they're saying that I need to go back to school.
Don't read the comments.
The chat's going to say what they're going to say.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Glorp, you're low IQ, so just stop speaking. All right, thank you.
Anyway, look, we already established we're not going to do that.
Yeah, let's not do that.
We'll deal with Glorp.
No, you're definitely the needle in the haystack in terms of low IQ people. So let's stop speaking.
I'm the needle in the haystack in the fact that you keep getting
let the real adults talk here for a minute.
Five stop. Okay, 5 stop left. Okay, fuck. Five stop. You're welcome. Come back. I got rid of Glorp. Now come back up and have the conversation. Jesus fucking Christ.
Is that Einstein?
It is Einstein.
Einstein.
Was it Fivesoft who was doing the voice? Just now?
I think it was Glorp.
All right, let's not do that. But Fivesoft, you're more than welcome to come back and have the conversation.
I take it to be the case that he's going to use that as an excuse to disengage, but I don't think he's here anymore.
But yeah, fun fact: energy is not conserved over large timescales.
Yeah. All right. I guess he's not going to come back, so I guess you two are more than welcome to stay up here, but I'm going to bring up question mark now since.
Yo, what's up, Sticks?
I might hop down unless you need me to come back up later. So.
All right. Thanks, bud. Thanks for coming up.
Just send me a ping if you need me.
Absolutely.
Later, Quan.
Later.
Question mark.
What's up, man?
Are you at least 18 years old?
Yep.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a theist or an atheist?
Oh, I'm an atheist. I'm just here because Styx is here, and I think he's like pretty smart. I was listening to the conversation. I had a few questions for him.
Illusion.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm just a sideshow.
I mean, you can go ahead and ask Styx your question. That's fine.
Oh yeah, it was just like where would you say is the best place to read up on like Noether's theorems about like, you know, not basically why energy isn't conserved over a large enough cosmological time frame?
I think that would certainly be a question for Quant. I'm not read up on literature. I'm not a physicist. I don't pretend to be a physicist. I'm a armchair cosmology and physics enthusiast. That's about it. So I wouldn't know. I mean, outside of pop sci articles, I don't think I would have anywhere to point you.
Well, then maybe I have some like questions I'd say are a little more relevant to your expertise. Do you think electrons in love is a good objection to FTA or no?
I do.
Yeah, I thought so too, but like someone was on my live recently and I was like talking to them about it. They're like, no, bro, it's a really bad thing because like we can just assume the principle of indifference and then say that like under theism it's still going to be super unlikely. And I think they were just misunderstanding the point of the objection anyway. So I just wanted to confirm.
I'll let Quant respond because I'm sure he's got a good article for you. And then I'll respond to that one.
All right.
What was the question? Please.
Just where can I read up on like Noether's theorems? Like, what would you say a good resource is since I'm not in those physics classes in uni yet?
I mean, I've mainly just learned it from like my classical mechanics textbook. Taylor's Classical Mechanics is always a good resource for me. I'm not sure if this is one of those things where there's not a good intro directly to Noether's theorem because it's one of the more advanced steps in classical mechanics. So this is one of the things I'd recommend to leave for the class.
I see. Okay, fair enough.
And in response to electrons in love, if anyone's in the chat kind of wondering what that is, it's a paper written by a guy named Neil Sinababu, and it's a response to the fine-tuning argument.
I'll hop back on.
Later, Quan.
That sounds so stupid. I can't lie to anyone who doesn't like already get some of like the jargon and literature. That sounds like utterly absurd. I can't lie.
Well, the fine-tuning argument is just saying something to the effect that of Fivesoft is back here. I'll cap this off really quickly. Fine-tuning arguments are just saying that the nomological or like the physical laws that govern our reality are potentially finely tuned insofar as they could have been vastly different such that even stable matter couldn't form. So some theorize that this is an indication of fine-tuning. We're not talking about like, the Earth's distance away from the sun. Fine-tuning, cosmological fine-tuning is a little more sophisticated than that. The electrons in love contention is an argument in response to that. And it's just saying something like, look, God, the only way you can generate any predictive power over fine-tuning under the theistic hypothesis is to say that God would have a motivation or some disposition toward creating agents or like finely tuned parameters that allow for agents to emerge because, maybe he wants a relationship with them or something like that. And he obviously can't do that if the universe doesn't exist at all or anything like that. Now, the electrons in love contention just says that, look, within the modal space of what God could have done includes potentially even just making little electrons only, such that electrons are floating around in space and maybe they have some like Cartesian soul attached to them so that they can love and think and worship and all that. And he says, you know, maybe when they're within a prime number of distance apart from one another, they can, you know, fall in love, and, you know, or electron and a proton can, I don't know, marry up and feel love and worship God and blah, blah, blah. So basically it's just saying that like God could have made any possible world, which is to say that these finely tuned parameters in this universe aren't probability raising toward theism, because any possible world that could obtain, or nearly any possible world that could obtain, would be equally evidence towards God. So anyway, that's the article. It's a very fun article. It sounds cute. It's called Electrons in Love by Neil Sinababu. If you're like a philosophy like enthusiast, or even kind of like an entry level Phil enthusiast, it's a fun paper to read. It's free online too.
I would appreciate that.
Hey, Five, you're back.
Yeah. Is Quant back? Is Quant here or no? I wanted to finish that. I think I accidentally dropped.
Oh no, yeah. Quantonaut might be somewhere out there in cyberspace right now. They'll return if they want.
Okay.
But I got. Oh, Quantonaut is here. So.
All right, sounds good. Yeah.
Five. I've only got 10 more minutes at most.
Yeah, I have limited time.
Do we want to let's like accelerate the conversation? Let's see if we can kind of make some ground instead of getting buried in maybe tangential points.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So I'm just going to basically argue that like essentially. Oh, Quant's here. Okay. I'll wait a minute. Quant. Okay. So let's just I have limited time too. So. Are you basically, does the position you hold basically say that basically entropy is increasing over time, or no?
No, I mean, generally speaking, entropy does not increase over time, necessarily. Only over small time scales is that true.
When you're saying small scale, like small time scales, what do you mean? Because like obviously the second law of thermodynamics disagrees with you entirely.
No, like on the scale of a human life, it's absolutely true. The second law of thermodynamics holds. But if we're talking about like cosmological time scales, or like close to the Big Bang, in which quantum correlations comes into play, you cannot use the second law of thermodynamics.
Right, so you're basically saying no, but entropy does still exist in an open system, because entropy is not the same thing as a closed system.
No. Well, specifically, the rule that entropy in a closed system will always increase only applies to a closed system. If you're pumping energy into a system.
But entropy by definition is basically how energy and matter are distributed.
But it's only well defined for classical systems in which those certain requirements are met.
Right, no, but
if you get like cosmological timescales with general relativity, if you're near a black hole or like near the Big Bang, you can't just use the laws of thermodynamics as written.
Right, but I'm just confused. I guess like what I'm asking is that like basically, in like a closed, isolated system, obviously, like matter and energy, it doesn't enter from the outside. But in an open system,
the definition of a closed system in thermodynamics is a bit of a misnomer. It just means that saying something is a closed system just means that energy is conserved. It doesn't mean that energy has to come in from the outside. It could be that energy is just being created from within.
What does that mean?
If that happens, it's no longer a closed system.
Okay, what does that mean from within? Because in open systems, you would agree that obviously, you just said yourself, energy or matter can flow in and out of it, right?
Sure, but like in general relativity, energy can be created from like within the system itself. In which case, thermodynamically, it's no longer defined as a closed system, even though like nothing's going in or out of it.
Okay, so you're saying that energy? Well, I'm sorry. So energy can be created?
Yes, absolutely.
Inside a closed system, or just in general?
Well, the definition of a closed system means that energy is conserved. So,
okay,
it's just a historical way of saying that. It's a bit of a misnomer.
Gotcha. So when energy cannot be created or destroyed, you're just disagreeing with that fundamental like principle.
It's not a fundamental principle.
Can you elaborate, please?
Specifically, it comes from Noether's theorem and time translation symmetry. If time translation symmetry is applicable to a system, then energy will be conserved within that system. However, in general relativity, it is not time translation invariant. Therefore, energy is not conserved in that system.
Okay, so you're referring to some points in physics. The problem is that obviously it isn't going to be completely true in every possible state, like space-time. But in modern physics and what we actually know, okay?
We know that energy is being created in the modern universe.
We do know that.
Yes, this is confirmed.
Okay, great. So the problem is that you're basically saying that time translation and symmetry, okay, basically means that like the law of physics are all the same at all times then.
Well, I'm saying that's not the case.
Well,
In general relativity, the laws of physics do change with time.
Okay, great. So entropy then basically it doesn't keep increasing over time. You're basically saying so.
Not necessarily.
In regards to an eternal past, you're saying an eternal past could be true because we could just be creating
because
energy.
entropy could reset.
And that would, and what is the theory for that?
Conformal cyclic cosmology, I believe, is one of them.
There's also like geodesically complete models.
Well, no, because
and also like even I should say even in a classical description, the rule that entropy always increases is a statistical one, meaning that if you wait enough time, just by random chance, you will get fluctuations of regions in the universe that just randomly drop in entropy, just by pure chance.
Right, but you're just
and so even in that case, you can potentially get regions of very low entropy that kickstart a universe over again, over like really long time scales.
Yeah, this is just possible worlds theory, man. Essentially, I mean, you're basically putting possible worlds into this.
Well, when you invoke impossibility and possibility, you're already speaking in possible world semantics.
Yeah, well, not necessarily, because the problem is that you guys.
Yes, you are. That's a modality. You're philosophically committed to that modal scope. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, to an extent, yes, but the problem is that when you're essentially saying, I'm also referencing things that we know to be true in regards to conservation laws that we know to understand.
Oh, but here's the problem, right? Because when you invoke the term impossibility, this is why I asked you 20 minutes ago for a contradiction, because that would mean we know something either metaphysically, or we know something empirically, or we know something through a logical modality to say that it's not possible. Now, I'm still waiting. Like you said, your argument is hinging on this notion that the universe cannot be eternal or past eternal, right? I'm still kind of wondering where the contradiction is there. And if you don't know what I mean by contradiction, I can expand on that.
Right. So
there are well-formed cosmological models in which the universe can have an infinite past and just not max out at some entropy level.
Yeah, so the problem is going to be is that essentially I'm giving the argument, but I'm also giving it based on entropy. But the problem is that obviously quantum is essentially saying that entropy, he basically already gave his argument. And there's a whole different discussion to have about that before we can even get to my argument that I want to give. Because if he's basically saying that entropy in and of itself, if he's saying we can create energy within a closed system, and we are creating energy, then there's a whole different
the definition of a closed system just means that energy is conserved. It's a bit of a misnomer. So,
well, conserved, but that doesn't mean created.
What? Conserved just means not changing with time.
Correct.
But energy can change with time. It doesn't necessarily have to come in from the outside. The reason why the terminology of a closed system exists is because in the history of physics, we thought that the only way to add energy into a system was to take it from outside the system.
Right.
But now we know that not to be the case. So now it's a bit of a misnomer.
Right.
But even just to progress this conversation, if we held
going here in a minute, just I have to get going to. I said it in the beginning, but what were you going to say? I'll respond.
Even if we held to a Hartle-Hawking no boundary proposal type model where there's kind of a past finite number of moments, if that even makes sense to say, even in that model, the universe is still pretty much eternal. There's no moment before the first moment. So even if we granted that model, I'm just curious as to how we get from that to God.
Yeah, no, sure. So the answer would just be quite simple. We would have experienced a heat death if there was an infinite amount of actually events occurring beforehand. But the problem is that Quantum already said that he believes that things can survive a heat death.
Wait, but you're okay. First of all, you recognize that infinity is a set, not a number, right?
Yeah, it's a cardinality to be specific.
Yeah. I was gonna say no, not the way you're wording it. No, like Quantum said, but anyway, yeah. Assume I grant that. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and do you know what the Hartle-Hawking no boundary proposal model holds?
What does it hold?
It's just Quant could probably explain this better, but just that there's a past finite number of moments, but the moments in the past are it kind of rounds off in the back. It's like asking what's north of the North Pole.
There's a geometric boundary at the start of the universe. There is a first moment of time, and it is geometrically connected to a timeless area of the universe.
So even if we granted that, that's what I'm asking, Five, is like, even if we granted this type of model, how do you get to that, or how do you get to God from that?
There was a first moment. Sorry, Quantum, repeat that last part again.
Yeah, there is a first moment of time in the Hartle-Hawking state.
Okay.
It is just geometrically related to a timeless state of the universe. Essentially, a good
Like a black
analogy of
hole?
this, is like if you're traveling on a line that is going into the past, closer and closer to the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Eventually, that line will just loop back around and start going forward in time.
But how would that be? So it's a moment in time where time ceased to exist?
Or rather, the more accurate description is that the dimension of time turns into another dimension of space.
But wouldn't that still just be a traverse, like a loop?
I mean, it loops back around on itself and starts going forward in time. So
That
it's
is what
sort of like a
sense.
cone at the end of the Big Bang.
Right, but you're
It just
essentially
loops around
saying-
in on itself. It's
Yeah, but
not
you're
a hard
essentially
beginning.
saying, but like that's essentially like saying a circle is just a. I mean, if you put a mouse in a circle and it's just running the actual, the wheel, you're saying there's a certain point it hits where it just resets itself, but that would just still be an infinite loop.
Well, it's not a loop. It's not a closed loop. It's just
It isn't a closed loop.
curved-
It's just a. All right. I mean, I do actually. listen,
It does go back around in on itself. The whole point is that it's not a hard singularity boundary. It just
Okay.
it has a geometric curved
What is that one
boundary.
called again? What is it called again?
A Hartle-Hawking state.
Hartle-Hawking state. Okay, I'm gonna look into that. No, I appreciate the conversation, Quantum Instance. Yeah, thank you. It was a good conversation. Appreciate
Five,
guys
do you
having
want
me
to
on.
before you go? I don't know if you have any more time, but do you want to just quickly run your argument? We won't stop you. We won't interject in any of the premises. I'm curious to see if this was just going in the Kalam direction.
Well, yeah, no, sure. I mean, I have no problem with giving like the argument I was going to give. I kind of just gave it, and he already basically just the first premise he basically shot down. So I can give it again if you want me to.
Is it the Kalam? Is that what you were running?
Well, not necessarily. No, I would just basically say that if entropy keeps increasing over time, that would just be premise one. So not premise one. I would just say an eternal past gives infinite time for entropy to increase. I would then just basically say therefore entropy should already be maxed out. And then I would just basically say, but we still see star structure and usable energy, things like that. And I would just basically say after that, I would just say the universe probably has not existed internally in its current thermodynamic state. But he basically said entropy isn't.
That's fine. But like, even if we granted that the universe began to exist, like ex nihilo began to exist, what's to say that the universe itself is just going to be an uncaused cause? Or like what's your kind of theory of causation here? I'm curious as to how you're getting to God from these facts.
Well, yeah, no, again, that's why I actually asked you what you were referencing when you asked that. I'm going to look into that, but I could go off and give a sub argument, but I have limited time. That's why I said before. Now, what I can do is this. I don't know if you guys are going to be here in about maybe an hour or so. But I can come back, but I have limited time right now. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's fine.
Well,
I should.
But I guess if you want to ask one more question, go ahead. Ask one more. I mean, ask
I'm
one
just
more
curious where you bridge the inference from these facts to God. That's really what I was asking.
Yeah, sure. So I would just basically come to the conclusion that if there is if entropy basically was increasing over time, there would be some sort of instantiation point. If this point did exist, okay, I mean, again, the instantiation point, it would be a point in time where time and matter came to exist outside of external causes. And that would just point to some sort of creator.
Okay.
I mean, unless you're saying matter itself, again, you're obviously going to hold that matter can be eternal as well.
Well, I don't think you even have to hold to any eternal universe model to raise doubt upon this type of argumentation. I think there is causal issues here. I think, but you know what? That's going to take us down a whole different road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I can have the conversation.
I don't know if we have another guest in the queue or not. I'm going to drop.
I do recommend looking up the Hartle-Hawking.
Yeah, I'm actually. I wrote that. I just wrote that down. Actually, I'm going to look into that, and then I'll like to come back and have a look again in the future. Here, sounds good.
All right. Take care.
Absolutely.
All right, later, guys.
Normally, I let the philosophy only last for 5 minutes, but because you two fine gentlemen were here, I allowed it to go on for much longer.
Well, we are going to get back to the Dalton show. I'm going to drop. Take care, guys.
Absolutely.
Actually, I think I might stay up.
Oh, I like that. Okay, fine. Okay, who wants to
keep you company?
Who out here in cyberspace can guess what I have written here in Hebrew? Let's see if there's any
Donuts.
You're not too far off, I suppose. Let's see if I can get any guessers out there, and if no one guesses it in the next 2 minutes, I'll just teach a little bit. I'll give you all the hints that you need to figure out what it actually says. Carl? No, it's not Carl. Carl! You're the dead human in our kitchen.
Or alternatively, Jimmy's mom.
Jimmy's mom. Oh, that's so funny. Buns? No, but this thing does have buns. I'll tell you that. Ooh. Cody's so close. Zach Petronoff, you are getting close, but that's not a het. That's not the letter het. All right, so the first letter, let's see if Chloe's able to load in, is the letter Dalet, spelled the equivalent of a D. The second letter is a Lamed. The third letter is a Tav. And the fourth letter here is a Vav, but in this case it's
Dalton.
And then the letter Noon, and this spells Dalton, which does have
it's close to donut. Oh my god!
Is why it's close because of a D. It's got the D, and also it has buns, and I do have buns. This anaconda's got buns on. Chloe, howdy, partner.
Hello, my favorite lesbian.
Oh no, I got facial. I got facial hair now. Can't say it anymore. All right, so everyone, actually, you two come right back because I'm gonna do a restart on the TikTok side because it's been 1 hour and 41 minutes and there are no Christians who are coming up. So we're gonna do a quick restart on TikTok. I'll be right back. Let's see. And then also on YouTube, everyone drop your super chats. Don't forget, we cannot do what we do without your help, and it's super appreciated. All right, here we are. The Bible portrays Yahweh as a bungling idiot. That is a fact. That is true. As I remember Matt Dillahunty once put it, that the Old Testament is just a comedy of the errors of Yahweh. Boom. Howdy, partner.
We must continue our quest with the Genesis Project.
Oh yeah, I'm so fucking bad. It's like, especially now, I've gotten even busier than I used to be. I used to only go live 4 days a week, and I've bumped that up to a nice odd 7. Yeah, wasn't Yahweh supposed to be a young warrior god who makes mistakes? Yes. The warrior, he's a storm deity, and the storm deities are often portrayed as being warrior gods. Like supposed to be his father. Also later tonight, at an undetermined time, we will be going live on just TikTok again. So people on YouTube, if you want to watch, you'll have to come over to YouTube. I went to TikTok while I play some very nice calming Shire music from Lord of the Rings, and then we'll take guests and talk. And when we don't have any guests, I will continue to read from The Hobbit.
I don't know how long you're on for, but I can't stay for long. I've got to take my abortion to bed soon. I'm just saying my abortion to bed because I mean, I always say that anyway, but someone called Ian just joined and I checked their bio and it says abortion is murder, so I'm going to go take my abortion to bed soon.
Oh my God. Ian, abortion's not murder, it is healthcare.
It's like anti-Ian.
The anti-Ian. Yeah. What do you think of preterists? I think preterists are coping with the fact that the Bible makes it very clear that Jesus was supposed to return in their lifetime. And so they have to like say words don't mean words. and then they renegotiate with the Bible in order to make things make prophecy not fail. I think it's a cope. Did you ever fix the feedback problem? I have not fixed the feedback problem. I wish I knew what was wrong and how to fix it, but you know, it is what it is. I wonder, okay, so I have this for it makes it to where you can kind of hear me vibrating back and forth like this. If I mute my microphone, can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Is there a reverb still?
No, you sound great.
But they can't hear me now. So
yeah, they say
now they couldn't hear me. So it's either I mute myself for them or for you, or you know, it is what it is. Okay.
Yeah, then you were just echoing.
Yeah. Lil Tim.
Hello.
Hello. I'm gonna ask you 3 questions and then we'll get to the conversation. Question number 1, are you at least...
You can ask me the questions, by the way. Just ask me the questions, yeah.
Yeah. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I'm over 8. I'm 26, man.
Question number 2. Man. Question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
Him, yeah, him.
And question number 3, are you a theist or an atheist?
I'm atheist. I'm atheist.
All right, what flavor?
I'm atheist.
Yeah, what flavor?
Bro, I just said I'm atheist.
Oh, you're atheist. Not a theist, you're atheist. Okay. What brings you up?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Christian. What are you? A space theist?
Atheist.
Or atheist?
An atheist. Atheist.
Okay.
Atheist.
And you're a Christian specifically?
Yeah.
All right. I'm the Bible guy. I'm an atheist. What do you want to talk about?
You're a theist too?
I'm an atheist.
This is like who's on first, I swear.
This is so frustrating.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We do not believe in a God. That is the point.
Yeah, I do not believe in a God. Do you believe in a God?
Yeah, Jesus, yes.
All right. I'm someone who does not believe in a God. What would you like to talk about?
God, man. I just want to talk about how you don't believe in God, man. That's kind of crazy. 2026, all the studies
I think
that came in.
I think it's weird that in 2026 that there are still people who believe in gods.
Nah, it's not crazy because if you think about it, the oldest like Bible came from 100,000 years ago. And then
No.
if you think about it,
No. Oldest Bibles go back are less than 2,000 years old.
is that not a long time? 2,000.
Not really.
That's not a long time. 2,000 years.
Humans have been around for 200,000 years. Relatively
That's
speaking.
a good proportion. That's 100%.
No. I'm not even sure. Is 2,000 even one? Is that even 1% of 200,000?
If you believe what you're trying to believe, but in my opinion, that is not very like factual at the end of the day, because even in the Bible, like it says, what goes around comes around. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Why should I think God exists?
You should believe because it's very logical. Do
What's-
you believe in logic?
I do believe in logic, but I don't believe in God because I've never been given an argument for God.
I'm just giving you an argument right now. You're not even accepting it. It's like, how am I gonna get this through you? You know what I mean? Doesn't make any sense at all.
What's your argument?
My argument is that through like science, you believe in science, yes or no?
Yes, I believe in the scientific method.
Even the biggest scientist in the world, Albert Einstein,
Did not
said
believe in God.
He believed in.
No.
Do you know
He believed in
Stephen
what
Hawking.
Stephen Hawking would be a bigger scientist, I think. He discovered black holes. And not just the one that Peggy made. But
Well, not quite, but
well, we named the Hawking radiation after him. Anyways,
he discovered Hawking radiation, but not black
Hawking
holes,
radiation.
Yeah. Details.
But anyways,
yeah,
Einstein didn't believe in God really. He believed in what's called Spinoza's God, which is just basically the universe is really cool, not any sort of actual deity. And then Hawkins also didn't believe in God.
Okay, but like, if you really think about it, so there's even some other scientists that believed in God. If
And
you
there's lots
think
of
about it,
scientists that don't believe in God.
I'm a scientist.
Yeah.
Are you really a scientist?
Yes, I am. I get paid to do science.
He works at a.
You know, like,
he works
you know,
on
like,
a he works
you know,
on a he works on a particle collider.
Yep.
particle accelerator.
Yes.
So that's like the Flash. Particles.
Sure.
Yeah,
If that's your
in the Flash.
Understanding of accelerator, sure. Sure, just like the Flash, yeah. Well, what is funny is that I do actually work on something called the STAR experiment, and the Flash works at Star Labs.
Yeah, Star Labs. I love that. But anyways,
so this might be it.
So there are lots of scientists who believe in no gods, and then there are lots of scientists who believe in lots of different gods. There are some scientists who believe in Yahweh, the Christian God, some who believe in Allah, some who believe in Vishnu, etc., etc. So whether or not a scientist believes in God doesn't really tell me whether that God is real.
So why don't you? Let's get to that part. Why don't you believe?
No one's given me a good argument for God. That's why I don't believe in God.
Argument. Why do you need a good argument? You should have faith.
No, faith is not, and faith isn't really useful if you're the kind of person who wants to believe true things. Because, like, you have faith, it leads you to Jesus. A Muslim has faith, and it leads them to Muhammad. So if faith can get you to something which is true and to something which is false, then faith isn't really a reliable tool for getting you to the truth.
Understandable, man. Have a great day, bro. I can't really, I can't get you, man. But good job.
All right. Have a good day.
I kind of had something to say to him. Oh, that's disappointing. He has little Tim in his profile picture, who was actually in prison for the involvement of the unalivement of King Von, the American rapper, Chicago rapper. Where's your morals, bro? Your Christian morals. Crazy. Anyway.
Y'all are so much more educated on pop culture than I am. I don't know anything.
I just love. I like King Von, to be honest. I do.
I mostly listen to indie folk music and Lord of the Rings music and soundtrack. I love soundtracks. Oh my god! One of the first things that made me adore Cam was the fact that we both had a shared interest in listening to movie soundtracks. I love movie soundtrack. Bro is living by vibes. That's true. Mega says Chloe be in the hood.
Well, wait till you find out who my favorite artist is. That's I'm gonna save that one. I meant like musical.
Oh,
musical artist.
Obviously, it's the guy who wrote the Lion King song.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Rings of Power? Never seen it. But I've heard from a reliable source that's not good. But who's your favorite artist, Chloe?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if anyone here would probably know, but all I'm gonna say is that my favorite artist is currently in prison for murder for hire.
Oh my.
Who is it?
I'm not gonna say.
Well, I can just watch. I'd be like, watch.
You do that. We'll do a guessing game.
What
That's fine.
musical artist is in prison for murder for hire?
Someone just said not David, right? No.
Lil Durk?
Yeah.
First one. Man.
Crazy.
I know Lil Dicky. Never heard of Lil Durky.
I love Lil Durk. I really do. I really do. He's like my therapist, but maybe although he is a Muslim, which yeah. Wild.
Let's see. Anyways, everyone tap that screen. Share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there. Do I need some? Here we go. We have here Raul. Raul, I'm gonna ask you.
How you doing?
3 questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18?
What?
Are you at least 18?
Oh yeah.
And are you? What pronouns do you go by?
I only believe in two genders.
I didn't ask about gender. I asked what
I'm sorry.
What pronouns do you go by?
It's not unnecessary. I don't need to tell you that.
Yeah, you do. No shirt, no shoes, no service, and also no pronouns.
There's only two genders. Goodbye.
I didn't ask about gender. What an idiot. Also, science would disagree with you, but whatever. I guess Paul's gender was dumbass. Oh wow. They really just like are such snowflakes.
Dumb/ass.
I was at the other side of the room. Did he say that he doesn't believe in genders?
He says there's only two genders.
Thought I heard, yeah, two, which like strangely based, but also not the question.
Love the pronoun question. Yeah, it really shows me whether or not the person I'm going to talk to is a good person or not. In this case, whether or not they're smart enough to talk to, and whether or not they're honest enough to talk to. He goes so far right, they become left. He's religious. He already denies science. Probably. Yeah. Believe. Anyways. What are y'all talking about over here? Paul's pronouns were douche/nozzle.
Oh, did y'all see that the new Subnautica came out today?
Is that the one where you play underwater?
Yeah.
I'm reluctant.
Oh my god, I need to play that one. It's so fun. I love the games that have been released so far. And I'm hyped.
Thalassophobia.
That's the best way to play it.
Oh god.
But it's not like that bad. Like the game is mostly not like jump scares or anything. Like
are there
a few parts
giant underwater monsters?
Yeah.
Ooh, that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I would sooner play Resident Evil. Someone said Elton John was the guy who did those Lion King songs. I wasn't. Yes, that is true, but I was not referring to Elton John. I was referring to the guy who did the opening piece, the Swahili piece. Nan Zingoyama Bagatiti Baba. Site hu Ngoyama.
Doesn't that just translate to like there is a lion, oh there is a lion on repeat?
That's what I've heard, but I heard that the guy who wrote it got upset about that.
Oh.
Nan Zingoyama Bagatiti Baba.
Bible, just curious, who's your favorite rapper?
My favorite rapper? Let me take
if you say Eminem, I swear to God, I'm going to leave the live. You basic bitch.
No, not Eminem. I don't really.
Can I say Weird Al?
Let me think about that. If I had to pick my favorite rapper, back in the day, I used to listen to a lot of NWA. So Ice Cube, maybe. I guess I'll have to, for now, just go with Ice Cube. I mostly listen to indie folk music.
Fair.
I mean, Daniel Radcliffe did the alphabet aerobics once. That was pretty cool. Artificial amateurs are not all amazing. Analytically, I saw animated things. Broken barriers bounded by the bomb beats. Buildings are broken basically on bombarding. Casually created catastrophes. I can't do the whole thing, but he did the entire song, A to Z. Pretty fucking crazy.
The fact that you even remembered that much.
I listened to it a lot. Actually, you know what? Well, no, I can't because of copyright right now. I'll do it later tonight when we're not on YouTube. YouTube people, you got to join us for the after party. Look, here comes a lion, Father. Oh yes, it's a lion. I love a lot of the names of the characters are Swahili words too. Like Simba, I believe means lion. Rafiki means friend. Etc. Etc. J. Cole.
A lot of the original Bionicle names were Maori words.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that just reminds me. Post Malone's my answer. I like Post Malone a lot. He's got such range. Okay, we have here F. Ralph. F. Ralph, I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18?
Yes, my boy.
All right, and question number 2, what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a theist or an atheist?
How many blank spaces do you want? You can have no blank space, just atheist.
Atheist? All right. What brings you up to the panel?
I just shortly wanted to share something really short about pronouns. I'm from Sweden. My girlfriend, her mother, she lives in the north of Sweden, where they have like this Finnish dialect. And when we had the whole, we've sort of gone beyond that, but we had this pronoun debate going on a few years back. And my girlfriend's grandmother, she was born in like 1930s or something. But she was so puzzled and confused because she was like, why are they fighting about this? We've had this in our language forever. So in Finnish, they have had gender neutral pronouns forever.
Yeah. And also in the English language, in the English language, we've been using they and them as a singular neutral pronoun since the 1300s.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I think the difference is in Finnish because they still use it today. Like everyone uses it like by default. Everyone, old people, young people, everyone, it's just built into the language. If you don't know, I've
had Christians come up here and then unknowingly they use neutral pronouns in their sentences without even realizing it.
Surprise.
Yeah. Who'd have thought, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, like if I found a phone on the ground and I didn't know who it belonged to, I wouldn't think in second to go, oh, someone lost their phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short question: which one of the Lord of the Rings books is your favorite?
Okay, so here's the thing. I haven't read the books yet. Well, I'm currently in the process of reading The Hobbit for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm reading it with my audience on TikTok lives at night. And again, like if you're on YouTube right now and you want to listen to the Bible guy read The Hobbit, I will be doing that again tonight. We picked up where we're only on the very first chapter right now, and Gandalf has made his first appearance. So
Nice.
you know, I will have to get back to you as soon as I get done reading all 4 books, The Hobbit and all 3 of the Lord of the Rings books. But if I had to pick which one was my favorite movie, it's probably it's a close tie between The Fellowship of the Rings and The Two Towers.
Yeah, Two Towers is a great one.
Yeah, I really like The Fellowship though.
The Lord of the Rings was the first book I ever read in English.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to read it in Elvish.
Yeah, you should read. Shut up, dog. You should read in Hebrew.
In Hebrew?
Yeah, just for funsies.
Just for funsies. I wonder if there's a Hebrew copy of The Hobbit out there somewhere. And just sit there and
Should be.
serenade you guys as I do my cha and my chit.
Yeah. It's almost 10 o'clock where I'm at night. So you have a good afternoon, whatever you're at
you too.
Time. Yeah, take care. I'm hoping for some crash outs.
Oh, well, we'll probably get some more by the end of the show.
Yeah. Take care, man.
You too.
Ciao.
Guys, I'm going to see if I look up the opening lines of The Hobbit in Hebrew. Oh, goddamn. Of course, it's going to be modern Hebrew. Bechor ba'adama ga lo hobit, velo merora meluchelet, tehuva umela'a shere tolaim, velo meora, yevesha eroma vechilut, she'ain bama leveshot alav oma lechol zochayata meorot habit, uferush hadavar nochut. There you go. I hope y'all were serenaded by that. All right. Anyways, thank you for coming up, F. Rolf. If it gets boring, I'll come up and crash out. Oh boy. Be ready to get your copy of the Bible Guy Reads the Hobbit in Hebrew. Yes, and by the way, the Hebrew word for Hobbit is in fact Hobbit. We got here Adam Malsub. I'm sure you're a returning guest, but just so I can get a reminder for my audience.
So, my friend, you dropped me last time. Is God dependent or independent?
Whoa. I just got to get the 3 questions out of the way first, then we can have the conversation. So, are you at least 18?
Yes, I'm 42.
And the pronouns you go by are?
Yeah, he.
And you're a theist, I'm guessing, by the question.
No, I'm a Muslim, sir.
So yes, you're a theist. So okay. All right. Yeah, God is dependent because he wouldn't exist without human beings to think about him.
Is dependent.
He's dependent.
Can you explain to me how is he dependent? Like he
Yes.
created this universe.
No, he didn't.
You wasn't there before like thousands of years.
No.
Okay, as a
No.
human. You
So
wasn't
you're,
there,
are you listening to my answers?
I'm trying to have a conversation with you, sir.
So
please,
also yes, everyone, can we get some justice for
I know
Aisha stickers?
I know you're working on
in the
dropping me,
comment.
okay?
I'm not.
But,
But you gotta. I'm giving you the answers to your questions. You're just you're railing off questions.
So
and
how,
I'm giving you
how
answers.
God is dependent?
Yeah, because like he only exists in the mind of human beings, and so if human beings cease to exist, then God will cease to exist.
So what about the proofs, bro, of God?
I've given no good proofs for the existence of God.
Okay. All right, I'd like to ask you a question, sir. You
Sure.
look like a good person, okay? All right, bro. You look at the mirror, right? Okay, mirror. You know.
I try
You
not to,
see
but
how
yeah.
Professional. You see how professional you are made.
No, I
as a
don't.
human.
Wait a minute.
You're not professional.
Do you see what's on my face?
My friend, I'm not talking about your face. I'm talking about the design of your
Yeah.
body.
My eyes are
Let's
so.
say about let's talk about the
my,
eye.
My
Do you
eyes
think,
are so.
Do you think
my
the
eyes are
eye
so.
need intelligence, sir?
No, it doesn't need
Like, is there
intelligence.
intelligence by providing the eye?
It's not very intelligent. Mine actually broke down, which is why I have to wear glasses.
My friend.
Also, the human eye has a huge blind spot in each eye that would have been easy to fix. If it was
You are unthankful person.
Wow. You're not. I think you're just here to preach. You're not listening to anything that's being said to you. Did you hear what Quantanaut just said to you, bud?
I feel sad when I see a kid like you.
And I feel sad when I see some pedophile defender come up and try to give excuses for the existence of his God. Now, are you aware that the human eye has blind spots in it? We constantly have to hallucinate in order to make up for all these blind spots in our eyes.
Where is your soul coming from? Answer.
My soul? I don't have one.
You don't have one? Man, fuck people like you. Go, bro.
Okay.
Go melt in hell, bro.
Why
Go melt in hell.
angry?
Go melt in hell. Laugh. You're gonna
Well, if you
melt,
don't have a
boy.
soul, how could you go to
You're
hell?
gonna melt, boy. That's what's gonna.
That doesn't make sense because the soul is what goes to hell, right? Like,
yeah, I can't go to hell if I
you don't have a soul. You can't go to hell.
You're going to melt. That's
No.
what's gonna happen.
I think the only one melting right now is you, bud. You're melting all over my life.
Why are you so
One day
mad?
in hell is 100,000 years.
But I
Why
go,
are you so
but,
mad?
but I'm not going to hell.
A
I
time
don't have
dilation, huh?
I don't have a soul. I can't go to hell.
I know you're too tough. I know you're too smart. Oh my God. You're gonna melt.
Undergo a
You
phase
think it's gonna
transition,
be
man.
there, boy?
I don't
You
think we
think
can.
TikTok
I
or
don't
mommy
think.
or dad?
Hold on.
It
I
only
think-
turns you to a fluid.
think
right?
even
not
if-
even like a
Do
plasma.
you
I think
think
even if hell was real and we were gonna quote melt, I don't think that's actually
Do you
physically
think that is-
possible.
Yeah, like
I don't
I
think
mean, there's
that's
parts of
physically
you that can
possible
melt,
close to
but
now.
there's definitely parts of you
Do
that would
you
burn
think
first.
this the
Chloe's right, because if I'm a soul, our
you
souls
will be alone
Adam, stop melting all over my live. Do souls have physical?
and blind? So
I'm already
What
blind.
state of matter is a soul?
they're gonna take you like that.
Can you
My
respond
wife.
to anything?
God's gonna tell you.
Borat. Why does that sound like Borat?
My wife.
Does.
Oh, my friend,
My sister, #1 prostitute, all of Kazakhstan.
Adam, and I send you
Very
David.
nice.
Man,
And
I'd love to know what
sent
state
you
of matter a soul is.
that would be fantastic.
and Mary. Okay. Oh,
What the fuck?
I send them a
This
message.
is the
to you.
weirdest crash out I've seen in a while.
Wait for it, boy.
Go
Wait,
on,
wait.
flip there.
Okay.
It's
All right. I
hilarious.
send this and that for you, and you.
What's his
Has
name?
the accent
Adam?
changed?
Adam?
You what?
tell.
Ignored. Okay. Today.
Okay, Borat, calm way the fuck down.
You will be ignored.
Still going.
That's crazy. I mean,
And
I'll give him this, the stamina.
I want you to laugh as much as you can, huh? Yeah, good night.
Yeah.
Why does he sound like a supervillain?
Sleep well today, huh?
Blah,
Yalla,
blah,
bye bye.
I want you to laugh
Presentation.
now. Oh, he ran. Okay, he ran away. He said, "You want to kick me?" No, he ran away. Man, I feel like he was sitting there in his evil lair going, laugh now because one. Oh, wait, he sounded like Edna Mode, said Cam.
Yes, that's it. Edna Mode.
Yeah,
No
love that.
kicks.
Love that, darling. Fantastic.
I
That's
never
it.
look back, darling. It distracts
Oh my
someone
god, I
now.
wish he stayed for longer. That's disappointing.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll have a serious interlocutor now. We're going to talk to Tristan. Tristan, I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I'm 22.
All right. And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him is fine.
Alrighty then. And are you a theist or an atheist?
Theist.
All right. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. Which flavor of atheist are you?
Which flavor of theist am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, classical theist.
But like, do you belong to any particular religion?
Honestly, when I was like baptized into the Catholic Church, I had a lot of questions still, so I did a lot of my own research. So a lot of my faith just comes from the theology itself and how I live that. You could say that, yeah. But I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not like New Age, kind of like theistic personalism, kind of, you know what I mean?
But do you believe Jesus of Nazareth was the Messiah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. I'm an atheist. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. I mean, like, a good place to start might just be like classical theism, just so we can both kind of understand, like, I don't know, like how we would both like understand that. I don't know.
I think the God of the Bible isn't the God of classical theism.
I mean, you do have a point there, like the understanding of a God, and specifically in the Hebrew context, comes from the Hebrew term, like a really old Hebrew word for like powerful being, which would be El, which would be E-L. And what's interesting is I learned recently that like their worldview was very different. Like they had like an animist, if that makes sense. Have you heard of that before? Like animism?
Well, they weren't animists. They were monolatrist.
Yeah, is that like similar to like, because I heard like henotheism is another word to describe the early Israelite faith.
Yes, they believed in the existence of many gods.
Yes,
but they just
yeah.
thought Yahweh was the most powerful one.
Yeah, it was like kind of like I'm aware that like some faiths in like other parts in the world kind of have that similar thing where there's like a high powerful being. And what's interesting too is that like they had like this idea of like beings and persons as not like specifically just relating to like humans, for instance. Like they would relate their understanding to beings and persons as, oh, this cup or this tree. And there's a lot of that kind of symbolic language in the scriptures, like in Proverbs, I believe. There's parts where like the trees like sing. Obviously, they don't literally sing. That's just their way of like, I guess, expressing that through like a human point of view. So I think they do point to like real things, but they're just like poetic for the most part. And their understanding of God was from a human point of view, but it did point to something real, like power as a concept, maybe from a human understanding, but I do believe there is something true about power, right? And I think that's kind of how I understand what the word God meant. And then obviously I separate like the true God as, Judaism would later understand from the false gods. And I guess if you want to like kind of pull me back to a specific question, you're more than welcome to. I'm just kind of like setting up a couple of like, food for thoughts, just to kind of have you get an idea of like where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Would
you like to know why I left Christianity in particular?
Sure. Yeah.
I left Christianity because it turned out that Jesus didn't meet the requirements to be the Messiah, and that he didn't fulfill any prophecies from the Hebrew Bible.
Would you be referring to like that part where he talks about like this generation will not pass until all these things have happened?
No, I mean like in the Old Testament, there are prophecies given about the future Messiah, and Jesus didn't meet the criteria to be the Messiah. He didn't fulfill any prophecies about the future Messiah.
And you're talking about how like he wouldn't, or like they were expecting the Messiah to be someone who would specifically restore a physical Israel as like a kingdom, like how back it was in the Davidic times, like when there was a physical kingdom and it was like governed by a king and whatnot. Because that was one of the things that the New Testament points out. Like the people were following him saying, oh, he's going to restore the kingdom of Israel like back then. But he wasn't talking about like restoring a physical kingdom. He understood it more in like you need to first, because he talks about how we're all like a city on the hill. Like we all are like our own building. We make up the city. It's not the buildings that make up the city. So like in order to restore Israel at all, there needs to be an inner transformation, which he knew would be very difficult for a lot of people to understand.
What I mean is that Jesus didn't fulfill any prophecies at all.
From the point of view of the people who may have been following him, I think, I would agree to a certain extent, but the way he was fulfilling the prophecies was obviously different than what they were expecting of him, I think.
I mean, did he? I would just say that, listen, if someone claims to be the Messiah, the way in which I'm going to know whether or not they're the Messiah is if they did anything that the prophets said the Messiah would do, and he didn't.
Mm-hmm. Are you drawing something there?
Oh yeah, I'm just doodling while we're talking.
Oh, that's cool, dude. That's cool.
This is giving like someone on the phone, like on hold, just doodling.
Yeah. That's cool.
On an envelope.
Yeah. I would say when I read the scriptures, I read it with Christ as the lens. And when I read like the Old Testament, for example, I believe it was included in there for, how would I put it? Like a means of looking at it critically, like not like condemning it or anything, but more of like looking at the Old Testament critically as like what do you call it? I'm trying to think, like a means of looking at, for example, troubling passages like Joshua or passages like Samuel.
Yeah, but the question is, did Jesus fulfill any prophecies in the Old Testament?
I believe that he does fulfill the prophecies, but just not in the way that the Jewish people at that time expected him to. Because a lot of them expected him to fulfill the prophecies in a very materialistic manner, I think. They wanted him to restore a physical kingdom. They wanted him to restore the prosperity that the old kingdom had. And that was something that they understood very materialistically.
What I mean, for example, is, let's say Matthew makes a claim that Jesus was born of a virgin and that this was meant to be the fulfillment of prophecy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet when I go back and I read the book of the prophet Isaiah and I go back and read the passage in question, it actually doesn't have anything to do with a virgin birth.
Right, because you got to keep in mind that this is obviously, now prophecy, this is a good question actually. This is actually great because what you're referring to is the idea of prophecy itself and what it means for a prophecy to be a prophecy in the ancient Hebrew tradition. And when I looked into this, I realized that prophecy had nothing to do, well, it didn't just have to do with prediction. It had to do with fulfilling something in a matter, and it had to be at least fulfilling in the objective. And I'm trying to, I wish I had the sources here. I mean, I could just look it up too, but I mean, if you don't mind. But before I do that, I just wanted to comment on how prophecy didn't just mean like, oh, you predicted the future. You know, it had to do with fulfilling something, whether it was an exact prediction of it. Because keep in mind too, even prophets knew that like, oh, we're writing from the past, knowing that these things are going to happen. Most often they did. Like, you know, there were prophets who knew that there was going to be a, you know, moral corruption of, you know, Israel, and that maybe a kingdom would come in and take advantage of that and destroy their civilization and take advantage of their division. And you know, that's not a verbatim.
The problem is with this whole spiritualizing of prophecy is that you can use this paradigm to make anyone the Messiah. You spiritualize a text instead of reading it for what it plainly says. In fact, there are other messianic groups that to this day still do that. And they're even the followers of Menachem Mendel Schneerson believe that he fulfilled, you know, even though he didn't really build the temple, he did so spiritually by establishing his temple, by establishing his synagogue at 770 Eastern Parkway. And that's no different than Christians saying, well, Jesus fulfilled it by establishing the church as the temple. So like, I'm not really convinced by the spiritual nature of prophecy. Like if I want to be convinced that someone is fulfilling prophecy, it needs to be plain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. I'm just, that's interesting. I didn't know about that individual. Okay, that's interesting. I actually kind of want to look that up. I'm actually curious about that. I wanted to mention something before I forget, but I want to actually look that up. What's the individual's name, if you don't mind?
Just type in the Rebbe, Rebbe.
Rebbe. And then, Rebbe would be like the rabbi, right? Like
the chief
teacher. Is that like the title?
It's a diminutive form of the word rabbi.
Okay. Is this a specific person, or was it like, is it just like an example?
Menachem Mendel Schneerson was his name. So when I was a Christian, I wanted to convert Jewish people to become Christian, and so I learned Hebrew, and I read the Hebrew Bible. And when I came to find is that a lot of the times in the New Testament, when New Testament verses are being quoted, they're being mistranslated and taken out of context in order to make it look as if Jesus were the Messiah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's not a very good it's not a very good method for convincing anyone that you're the Messiah. If you have to go through this rigmarole just to make someone look as if they are the Messiah.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about that is that you do have a point. Like, obviously, people are going to be like, "Well, if it just looks like you're just reinterpreting it, then is it really staying true to the prophecy?" But I think what's interesting too is that these prophecies were being made. And if you look at it broadly, about the context of Israel's moral decay throughout the centuries, especially during the First Temple period, especially during they're transitioning into sedentary life in the Promised Land. It all centers back onto the collapse of morality. And obviously there's obviously different authors that disagree on what kind of moral fortitude these, the tribes should have. Like some say, oh, you shouldn't marry, into foreign, communities. Oh, but it's fine to marry into foreign communities as long as you keep your moral integrity, as long as you, respect widows, as long as you protect the poor, as long as you do these things that, in my opinion, are obviously even considered, correct even by secular standards. Like, obviously giving to the poor is a good thing, like whether it's done through any religion or not. And I would argue that the early Israelite faith, and when you think about, I'll try to get back onto my point, but basically religion is just a very general word, really, if I think about it. I remember looking it up. It just comes from a Latin word meaning to do over again. It's literally just a repetitional means of going throughout your life and choosing things that you do and don't do. So I would argue that in a non-institutional way, everyone is kind of religious in a way, but not in the way that most people think, obviously.
Yeah, we shouldn't probably shouldn't play fast and loose with the meaning of words.
Right. I won't overstate that. Yeah. And I think what's interesting, basically my point is that in the New Testament, it talks about how, all right, there were other people like Jesus who were in the Galilee region, who were getting followers and stuff. And when that guy died, his followers dispersed and they lost interest. But if this guy really is from, the one, then there's no reason for us to intervene because it'll just cause more trouble. And I think with that in mind, it made me think about why people found the message of Jesus so appealing. And I think it has to do with kind of like the early mysticism around it rather than like the institutionalization of it later on, especially with the Road to Emmaus story.
Christianity bore a lot of similarities to other mystery cults.
My understanding is that it was an apocalyptic cult.
It started off
was a major appeal at the time.
It started off very apocalyptic, like much apocalyptic literature, but it became popular with non-Jew because it didn't really catch on with Jewish people, for the reasons that we've mentioned already.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
But it caught on with Greeks and Romans because it looked a lot like the common Greco-Roman religion of its time, like the belief in a singular son of God or daughter of God figure who suffers and brings about personal atonement and a promise of an afterlife, along with communal meals that remember the suffering of the deity. I think that's why it really caught on with the Romans more than it did with the Jews.
I think there's some truth to that. Yeah, I definitely think that there was definitely more things in common that the theology of Greeks and Romans and maybe even Aramaic people had with the teachings of Jesus more than it would have caught on, more than it did with the Jewish faith. And what's interesting, is have you ever heard of Philo of Alexandria before? Philo. I keep missing that.
Yes. The author of the Gospel of John derives his logos theology from Philo's work.
Yeah. So you're already aware of the idea of the logos and the Son. When I look at like the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit idea, it's like I think like when people would look at that, they go like, people insist like, oh, it's talking about like one, but then it like insists that there are three distinct persons. But obviously now it's like a little bit more clear because back then there was more of like an animist kind of view of everything.
Philo believed that there was the existence of an angel figure called
like a messenger. Yeah.
Yep, and that the author of the Gospel of John believes that Jesus is just this angelic figure.
Mm-hmm.
But like the reason I cannot be a Christian is because Jesus didn't fulfill prophecy, and because there's lots of scientific and historical errors in the Bible and in the Gospels.
I would say in the modern sense, it's not like a perfect what do you call it? It's not like a science textbook, right? It's just there is some contradictory stuff in there. Like there's different authors in the Old Testament that even disagree on like whether to marry into foreign communities or not. And some people even argue that they're actually complementing each other, or at least one of them does. Because they were written at different times. Like Deuteronomy, I believe, was like the first one written, if I'm not mistaken.
It's definitely at least dates to the time of Josiah.
Mm-hmm.
But why should I why should I return to the fold of because I'm an ex-Catholic.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at it, and when I originally was understanding classical theism, I struggled to realize, well, then how does Jesus fit into this? How does he end up being the Messiah? And when I would look at it, I understood it through him fulfilling what it meant to be a real human being. And what that meant was that the Logos is understood as the self-expression of existence itself. And existence itself is the classical theist understanding of God, which is existence itself, not like a being, but like being itself. I'm sure you're maybe familiar with that already.
Yes, I was a Thomist, but I don't buy that such a being exists.
Yeah, but when you think about being, like most people will think about it in the way we use it today. Like, oh, when I think of a being, I think of like, my friend Joe over there, right? I'm not going to think of like existence as a being, right? But they understood that differently back then, and usually in a like animist way, if that makes sense. I know I keep saying that, and I don't mean to overstate that, but like that was a big part of the worldview back then, right? They didn't understand. They had a more broader meaning for being in person. It was more of a meaning. It meant basically like anything that was animated, and it didn't always have a soul because the idea of the soul was tied to breathing in Hebrew, if I'm not mistaken. And something could be alive in Hebrew, but in the Hebrew worldview and language, but it didn't necessarily have to have a soul, if that makes sense. But the soul is derived from breathing, and then that is like what that's like a form of life, like sustaining the soul, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but why should I think that this ipsum esse subsistence, that this subsisting active being, which is God, does in fact have any ontology to it?
Well, I think it's just like, I think it's pretty like simple. I mean, at least I understand it to be pretty simple. Like, I think existence is just the pervading, like, kind of brute fact, I guess, if that's like the kind of word that would make it like.
Yeah, I just would subscribe that to the universe. I think the universe is just a brute fact.
Yeah, I would say the universe like always existed, but it exists. And then I would think, well, if the universe exists, then it's dependent on that brute fact.
You can't hold that belief as a Catholic.
Really?
The dogma of the Catholic Church is creation ex nihilo, that God created the universe from nothing.
It's interesting. Okay. I mean, I definitely have to look more into that idea, because I remember kind of like trying to understand, like, oh, that creation out of nothing. What is nothing referring to? Like, and I think
in Catholic theology, it refers to non-being, no thing.
Yeah. But what, if I'm not mistaken, hold on, I have this here in my notes here. If I'm not mistaken, when Aquinas says like God created an eternal universe, is like it's the idea of saying that is like perfectly coherent with like God eternally sustains a universe that has always existed, because the term created is like used analogically. It's not like because like God's eternal act of sustaining existence.
Thomas Aquinas says explicitly when he gives the first way that the idea of an infinite universe with infinite regression is not so.
Interesting. Yeah, because I know about the infinite regress. I'm aware of it. When I think about that, I actually have to look into that. I mean, because either I have looked into that and I'm just not aware of it off the top of my head, or maybe I just haven't looked into it too deeply yet.
It's not a problem. Like, you can have an infinite regression.
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
I would be more curious as to if that is the sort of God that you do believe in, how can you prove that they have a mind?
Well, because the mind,
grant that there's something sustaining reality. I don't grant that it would have a mind.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I like that one, because I was actually watching this video, because this is answering your question, by the way, by this guy named Dr. Jordan B. Cooper on YouTube. He talks about classical theism versus theistic personalism, and if I'm not mistaken, you know about him, right? Dr. Jordan B. Cooper. He's a Lutheran, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, he talks about that idea of ascribing aspects to God as if he's like a person, not like he's like basically like the greatest person or like the most powerful person, if that makes sense. But it's done in a way of like modern understanding. It's not done in the like animist understanding of ancient times. So when they say like God has a mind, it's more using like an analogy. That's not right. Am I saying that?
Well,
right?
I don't think like in any
analogically
understanding of the word mind, I don't think that you could ascribe that to this entity.
Right, because like it's trying to
unless you fully just erase the definition of the word and replace it with something completely different. But at that point, you're just not describing a god.
Well, I think it's because our understanding. Yeah, that's a good point. If we're going to redefine mind, which I think honestly, I'm not redefining it as much as I'm trying to understand what they meant by that in their context, and before we understood it more narrowly, maybe that's just something I kind of think, and I would kind of ascribe to. But to answer your question, when it comes down to like, oh, are we just like not talking about God? Then I would say that, well, if I'm not, I would look at like the idea of, or like the understanding of God in like a more objective sense as like power ascribed to a natural force, maybe in our modern context. But they would obviously talk about beings and persons in a more like broader sense, and not in the sense of like, oh, just a person, kind of like when you draw.
I don't think we're in disagreement that there are like forces of nature.
Right.
Like sure, of course there's forces of nature, but
yeah.
that's not really the point of contention here.
Yeah.
Like at that point, what's the difference between you and an atheist?
Right, that's a good point. Because like when I was thinking about that, I'm like, well, then there's really nothing to disagree about. It's just semantics, really, and it's just a misunderstanding of like ancient language. And I think I would agree with that. I think it's really just.
But I would also go on to say that I don't think that ancient people would have known about what forces of nature exist at the time, besides maybe like gravity.
Yeah, not completely. They didn't know about gravity yet because that was better understood with Newton, at least a little better.
Well, I mean, they had an understanding of some force that like pulled objects towards the ground, but they didn't have like a mathematical model of it yet.
Of course, yeah,
but like they didn't know like what the strong nuclear force was, for example. They had no idea what that was.
Of course, yeah.
And I don't think that anything that they have described is relating to the actual forces of nature, but just rather an explanation for like their understanding of the world. And in that sense, I don't think that they would be any more correct than any other religion at the time.
Yeah,
it's just a more messy version of like saying lightning was created by Zeus.
Yes, yeah, that's a good point, because there were obviously different versions of Zeus, if I'm not mistaken. Like you had different understandings of the power of thunder, or the god of thunder, or whatever term you use for that. And I would say that's almost
my point is that those are all unrelated to how lightning actually works.
Right, yeah. And I think that's a good point, and that's where I kind of ground my understanding of how people viewed stuff back then. It wasn't perfect, right? They thought the earth was flat. Like in Genesis, there's hints that they believed in a flat earth because their understanding of the earth was that, it was created because it used to be full of water and then it was separated to create dry land. And that the heavens are like the heavenly water.
Yeah. So my question really is like, why should I believe that these people got it any more right than any other ancient religion?
Well, that's the thing. When I look at all of the different faiths, I think I'm not like a narrow exclusivist. I'm not like the kind of person who's like, I'm just going to reject it because one thing is wrong. Like I look at it critically and I look at it honestly and I'm like, okay, they were all on the right track. Okay, maybe this was influenced by that. Or, Islam was influenced by
I don't grant that they were all on the right track.
Right.
Well, obviously they weren't like in the right track in the same sense that like they were going to like make a groundbreaking discovery and like, be able to like do things in the right track in regard to like mathematical conclusions, but like more in the sense that they were pointing to something that we would better understand later on, right?
I'm under the opinion that all of what they wrote down is a matter of human psychology and not actually like the result of nature. So why should I think that what they wrote down is anything more than just human psychology from a Bronze Age period?
Yeah, and I think when I look at it, I'm aware of that. Like, I would agree that, it's coming largely from their worldview, but I don't try to like disregard it and try to say, they were talking about this, but they just didn't understand it that well. But at the same time, I'm aware that that's like the case, but I'm reading it with both perspectives in mind. I'm trying to have a multiple perspective on this. I'm not trying to narrow it down to, I should just disagree with them completely, or I should just completely agree with them, right?
Then why be a Catholic? Why not be a Buddhist or a Muslim or anything like that?
Or just someone like just a general deist?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I would agree that like, and I think honestly, a lot of religion today has gotten so narrow that it does create inevitable division. And I'm not under the opinion that the Catholic Church is the best church, or like the Buddhist church is the best church, or the Islamic faith is the best faith, right? Like there's obviously going to be like, there's division. And I think that the division it's not like it's like a bad thing, but it's like an incomplete
you're
puzzle.
Leaning more towards being like a Unitarian or something.
Well, I mean, Catholic does mean like universal, so I guess I'm leaning into that in a way, like the universal, like idea.
To be clear, the universal in Catholic refers to the universal church. That's one church for everybody. Yeah. That's it.
And I think when I think about church, I think about it in the way that like Christ would talk about it, like the kingdom of heaven is within you, and he would talk about it in
it doesn't actually say that though.
I mean, like that's like a paraphrase of it. That's
it's just it's a mistranslation. It gets mistranslated as the kingdom of heaven is within you, and he actually just says the kingdom of heaven is amongst you.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I meant to say that. Yeah. It's now I'm not sure if you would understand it in this particular way, but when I would read that, and then when I also discovered that translation, I began to wonder if is heaven and hell just like our state and mind in existence, and then when we die, that's just like forever. You know, like one of those states of mind is just like
that was
forever.
That was one of the beliefs of one of the authors of the Bible, but the Bible, you know, is not a univocal text. There are different authors who have a different perspective on the afterlife, on God, and which is another reason why I don't believe in it. Like this is clearly just a human text that is attempting to explain the world, but they're doing so by invoking myths instead of science.
And I perhaps have a way to get to the heart of this.
Yeah.
Do you believe that any specific supernatural event happened?
So when it comes to supernatural, I don't think that it supersedes the natural world. I believe that the supernatural is the human lens to understanding the natural world. And I think that I would agree.
Well,
that's
saying,
why
like walking on water, turning water into wine.
Okay, yeah,
right,
yeah.
Being risen from the dead. That is pretty darn supernatural.
Yeah, I understand
Did that happen?
Yes, but I think it's done in a like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's done in a way that's like, it's written down in a way that's like kind of like, I'm trying to think, I guess supernatural, but I'm trying to find a better word for it. It's like a word
Was that
for
like
it.
directly God intervening and putting aside the normal rules that apply to the universe?
No,
to
I'm not
allow
saying-
this one specific event to happen? Or
Yeah,
what?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like they would write things in these over kind of dramatic ways. I'm not sure why, honestly. I still have to look into that. They obviously did that in other texts, even like when regarding Alexander the Great, for example. I don't know why they do that, but like
maybe you're not did Jesus actually rise from the dead, or is that just poetic, flowery language for something else?
I think kind of yes and no. When it comes to the resurrection, I understand it most best through Luke and the Road to Emmaus, when the disciples are walking and they meet someone who they don't recognize as Jesus, and then when they talk with him and they go to eat with
To be
this
clear,
individual.
as a Catholic, you are obligated to believe that Jesus was physically and literally resurrected from the dead. It's part of the Nicene Creed.
Yeah, I do believe that there's like but I think it's important to understand what it means for physically risen from the dead.
As
That
in,
makes sense.
This, like, according to Catholic theology,
Mm-hmm.
when Jesus' corpse was raised up and glorified and walked around.
But does it actually say that in the text? Does it say that Jesus' corpse was raised up?
Yes, because
and walked around.
Because Thomas, the way that Thomas has demonstrated that Jesus is risen is that he puts his fingers into the holes of Jesus. He fingers Jesus.
Yeah.
And Jesus
Okay.
sits down and he eats with them.
I think when I was reading that, I read it through a more of a, because I remember looking this up in other extra biblical texts, and there's evidence that like other like what do you call it? Like when it comes,
it's given origin, but
Yeah.
you know he was
But I
condemned
think
by
that
the
there's
Catholic
a-
Church.
I think there's a sense of like, well, like back then, like even like with Greek authors, they would add in these sorts of like kind of mythologies that pointed to what they were hearing from other people, and it wouldn't always reflect like the actual physical event. It wasn't always pointing to an actual event scientifically, right?
Tristan,
Well, then you're saying that it didn't physically happen.
Yeah, but Tristan,
Well, I think it's good and important to understand.
We've been going on for 30 minutes, and I'm sorry, but it's just this is all a bit vague, and my audience is getting bored, and I do need to move on.
All right. So before I go, did you want me to clarify what I understand the resurrection to be based on the scriptures and based on
We can probably talk about that next time.
Okay. All right. Well, it was good talking with you guys. I'm glad I tried this out with y'all because I wanted to talk to Ian maybe, and my mic was terrible, so I had to take off my case and stuff. It was not working well at all. I kept like clipping in and out, but yeah, I had fun regardless. I know your audience is probably like, we want someone to like crash out, but I mean, no offense, but like
I think they just mainly want somebody who's firm in the belief.
Well, I mean,
because this is kind of tricky to argue against a position that's very ill-defined.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you need me to head out, that's cool. I might, show back up later, and clarify. But other than that, it was nice talking to y'all.
Have a good day, Tristan.
You too. Bye-bye.
Let's go. That's probably why I was drawing the whole time, mostly. We're gonna bring up why have I done this? And by the way, everyone, what I drew was Odin, the All-Father. Why have I done this? I'm gonna ask you 3 questions, and then we'll get to the conversation. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2: what pronouns do you go by?
I guess I'm a male.
So male is not a pronoun in the English language.
Well, that should give it away. The only ones that go with male is he, him.
That's not true, but if you go by he, him, that's fine. So you might need to. You're a bit muffled. Could you get closer to the mic?
I'm on my Bluetooth.
What was that?
Are you driving? Yeah, I've got my earbuds in.
Oh, and sorry, TikTok has a very firm no drive, no live. You can come back when you're not driving. Jason, Jason, your name looks familiar, but I'm just gonna need to ask you the standard 3 questions. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yep.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Yep.
No, what pronouns do you go by?
He.
All right. And are you a theist or an atheist?
Theist.
All right. I'm gonna need you to speak up a little bit. You are a bit faint. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I'm an atheist. What would you like to come up and talk with us about?
Dalton, before you start this conversation, can I just say Jason on Josh's live last night asked why grape is wrong?
That's where you're the guy who was doing grape apologetics, right?
I didn't say why grape was wrong, but yeah.
That's exactly what you said, by the way.
No, I said, what is it?
You didn't at all. You said, why is it wrong?
I asked, how would you define it? Anyways.
You don't know what rape is?
Is that what we're going to talk about?
It's just kind of weird. You don't know what rape is. I've never had to ask that question.
Well, because I'm not going to get into it right now because it's kind of a disturbing subject, but
it is disturbing. It's as disturbing as when I have someone ask me what is rape.
Somebody brought up that there was a guy like implanting some kind of seeds in women, like against their will.
No, we weren't talking about women. We was talking about children.
Children.
No, we were talking about like some guy.
No, we were talking about, is it okay to impregnate a child? And then you came up and said, well, what is grape?
I'm talking further down the conversation.
Just to be clear, though, you would agree with us that a child cannot consent to becoming pregnant.
Sure.
All right. What did you want to come up and talk with us about?
Wait, you don't remember anyone bringing up that guy talking about the...
I talk to hundreds of people every few weeks. I cannot commit these conversations to memory.
Somebody said there was some like doctor or something, and he was like against women's consent, was like implanting.
So this is what you want to talk about?
No, it's not, but it's like kind of annoying. But anyways, I wanted to talk about free will.
Okay, I have no reason to believe that free will exists. I'm a hard determinist. Emphasis on the hard.
I actually don't even think free will is a well-defined concept.
Yeah, I define it as the ability to make choices independent of underlying causes.
Oh, yeah, then if that's the definition, then it's absolutely not true.
Yeah.
How do you make sense of that?
Yeah, like, can you think of any choice that one makes that doesn't have an underlying cause that is truly spontaneous?
A muscle spasm.
Muscle spasms have causes, and they're also not.
Also, like being spontaneous is not free will.
Right, right. I agree. I agree.
By truly, what I mean by truly spontaneous is that it has no underlying cause whatsoever, and also muscle spasms aren't things that we choose; they're involuntary.
They're spontaneous, but yeah. All right, so, yeah, I think like a choice that you make from the person themselves, the mind, the consciousness of the individual, is a cause that's not fully like explainable by
Still, yeah. As long as there's a cause, though, it's not free will.
Yeah, but free will is not saying that. Free will is saying that the person who chose is the only cause.
No, free in the free will means free
At
of
least
any.
my definition.
Well, that's not how free will is understood in the philosophical realm. Free will means that what you're just saying actually aligns more with determinism, which is not free will.
Yeah, because I mean, like consciousness, there's the hard problem of consciousness. And,
I don't believe in the hard problem of consciousness.
Right. You figured it out?
I think we have. I think we have as a species. I think the only people who really call it the hard problem of consciousness are the people who really want souls to exist.
Right. So
I don't think souls would fix it either.
Yeah.
You have sources?
For what?
What you just said?
No, I don't have any sources.
That we figured it out?
Oh yeah, I mean, like neurology. I mean, we know that every choice that we make is like prompted by some like firing of synapses in the brain. Do we have, and like you could demonstrate that the brain isn't generating consciousness if you could give me an example of a conscious individual who's also brain dead.
Wait, no, I just wanted to know if you have a source that says that we figured out the hard problem of consciousness, quote unquote hard problem of consciousness.
Yeah, just from like the total like knowledge of neurology, we've basically demonstrated that, you know, every experience that we have is like by means of the brain. Like the way I see things, for example, is that light bounces off of objects, enters in my brain. That sense data gets processed in my brain in certain regions of the brain. No soul required. Personalities also determined by the brain, which is why you can change someone's personality by like damaging the brain, which doesn't make sense under a dualism.
Good old Phineas Gage.
Phineas Gage is exactly what I was thinking of.
So I'm aware of sources, but like what you're saying, but the hard problem of consciousness is not that are the brain and mind like related or correlated. It's where does brain activity go from being brain activity to subjective experience?
Yeah, that's because you have sense organs that are able to like, so that you can take in like sense data. That's how you're able to have subjective experiences. Like my ability to see, taste, touch, hear, those are all biological.
Yeah, no, we can like map out those signals and follow them through the central nervous system.
Is there anything that suggests that it's not just the brain?
Well, no, it's the hard problem. It's the
But no, like
consciousness.
if I seem to have an explanation for how I'm able to perceive and experience the world with my brain.
I'm just saying, you said it was figured out.
Yeah, I think that's us having figured it out.
Like you could basically say what you're saying. You could say, if I cut your hand off, you're still here.
Yes.
But
if you remove every part of my body and leave my brain, that's still me. Like
yeah, so like we've solved it basically centuries. I mean, like centuries ago. Then, because that's
I don't know if it's century. I don't know if it's
that
century ago.
information has been there. The information that the brain and the mind were related has been known forever.
Yeah, but I think that more of detail on neurology is probably about a century old.
I know, but it's only shown that kind of evidence is what you're saying. Is what I'm saying.
Like, why?
Kind of
What do you think?
related
What do you think the soul does for the body? What does it provide?
think it provides agency.
Agency, the ability to make choices.
Yeah.
Which is
to perceive and judge.
As far as to perceive and judge, as far as I can tell, my perception is simply due to my having eyeballs that take in sense data, which gets computed in the brain. I don't see anything that would suggest that the brain isn't responsible for my ability to like discern and make judgments.
On like in the world that it's in. I mean, as a theist, I believe like the body and the physical world are like deeply connected. You know, like
it's because the body is part of the physical world.
Like there is people who've contemplated like those practices of sensory deprivation and try to ask the question, well, what is the consciousness apart from all these things? And
well, that's assuming that there's a consciousness apart from the body.
Apart from sensory organs, yeah. And they've definitely like reached like it's not a uninteresting field of study for sure. I don't know much about it, but
maybe that will help clear this up. If you like started assembling a bunch of neurons together one by one into a full brain and didn't add anything else, like you didn't conjure a soul and implant it into it, would that brain act like a normal person? And you say you put that brain into a body.
What if I like?
Would that brain, would that person act like every other person?
I mean, you could simply ask, what if I like carefully removed your central nervous system from your body?
Well, I'm asking this question specifically because in this case, in this thought experiment, we're constructing a person without anything extra beyond the physical. Like we're controlling every atom that goes in. We're not like implanting a soul into them.
I mean, it's hard because I don't think science is like put together molecules and got like a living organism.
Well, it's a thought experiment, so
okay. So
assume for the moment with me that you can, like you can just assemble cells together into what looks like a brain and put that brain into a body. If you did that and you only like just had the neurons and you didn't have anything extra like a soul that we don't yet know about or anything, would what you have created act like a normal person? Or would there be something missing that you could tell?
I don't know. I mean, that's a great question. I don't know if there would be something. I think in your view, you would imagine there's something there. If you think the central nervous system is all there is, that
I would say
for
that
consciousness.
I would say that we have a good evidence that would lead us to believe that that would act like a normal person. You could ask them, questions about what it feels like, and are you happy, sad, and they would respond like any other person would. Because they have all the hardware to process it.
Just a brain?
Yeah, I mean, the brain is the processor.
But it uses like other organs to process that information.
Well, yeah, assuming that, as I said, that you have the other organs to provide it energy and oxygen and all that.
Or even communicate a signal. Because how would you communicate it? Because it doesn't have ears to process audio data.
This is all in the thought experiment. You're giving it a body. I'm specifically just saying you don't include anything. Yeah, you give it a body and everything, but you just don't give it a soul, like whatever that would be. You just only add in the physical stuff and see if that is sufficient to make a person.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, okay, you're asking me like to provide like an explanation, but that doesn't make like an inconsistent.
Well, I'm asking you what would be missing.
Yeah, well, not
like
just
how
your
would
thought
that
experiment.
in that thought experiment, how would that person that doesn't have a soul but they do have all the necessary hardware, how would they act differently than a person with a soul?
Are you asking me if like to conceive of a philosophical zombie, essentially?
Would it be a zombie?
I mean,
it's living.
Is that what you're asking me?
A philosophical zombie is an actual philosophical term that doesn't refer to actual like movie zombies. It would be a person that acts like a person but doesn't actually have any internal experiences. But I don't think
is that essentially what you're asking me to conceive of?
Well, I am asking you, like, one response would be that this artificial person that we're creating would be a P zombie. If you think that that is the
Yeah.
case, I would ask for justification for that. But I don't think that that would be the case. I think that this person in our thought experiment would be just as much of a real person as anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think I think of the conceivability of a philosophical zombie is a problem, maybe for both, like, I guess idealists is most, like, and physicalists together, you know, because it's like, we know the consciousness exists, but we can't, we can conceive of a fully explainable physical human body and be absent or void of any conscious experience. And for the idealist is like, has to say that it's not kind of the same thing.
I just don't understand what the soul is supposed to be doing that the brain doesn't do on its own.
Yeah. Essentially, that's what I'm getting at. Would a brain sans soul act any differently than a brain with soul?
A brain sans soul? What did you say? Oh, like
Yeah,
made
a
of
brain
sand?
without a soul. No, sans means without.
Oh, sorry, I'm not okay. Sorry. A brain without a soul. What was the question?
Yeah, would that act or behave any differently than a brain with a soul?
Yeah, I want to know what the soul is providing.
I mean, these are all great questions. I mean, you're asking a theist, so it's like, I'm not necessarily raising it all up to God, like, oh, unexplainable God of the gaps, whatever. But
I mean, does the soul provide memories? Because as far as I know, that's soul located in the hippocampus. Personality located also in the brain. Like sight.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think those things are fairly, you know.
So what would a brain without a soul
physically
behave like in a way that's different?
I mean, some people say like it's pure awareness, you know.
Awareness.
Pure awareness.
What does that mean, pure awareness?
I mean, a brain without a soul would be aware.
A brain without a soul would be aware.
Yeah, it's got sense
I
organs.
think so, yeah.
It's got sense organs.
What does
It takes in
mean
that.
to be
It'd be
aware?
processing data just as much as everybody else.
That
So,
you're
like
able
a computer can process data, but we're damn sure that a computer doesn't, is not aware of anything.
One could argue that a computer is sort of on a spectrum of consciousness. It's on the very low end, in my opinion. Even like AI stuff is very, very low on the spectrum of consciousness. But I do think that it is a spectrum, and the ability to process data and, you know, deliberate on that and provide output as a result is essentially one of the core features of consciousness.
A computer is on the conscious spectrum. Is that what your claim is?
Very, very low, but sure.
Interesting. Yeah, I would have to disagree with that.
Based on,
I mean, the same way that like a microbe might also be very low on that spectrum as well.
Like
But as you climb up that spectrum, it becomes a lot more blurry. Where like you have a dog which might not be able to process the world in as complex of a way as we can, but certainly it's like conscious to some extent, of course.
I mean,
as far as I
is
understand it, the only things you need to be aware of your surroundings is to have the necessary sense organs that can take in the data, and then the brain to process the data.
Mm-hmm.
What's missing?
Yeah, I mean, like, what's missing? Yeah, you're aware. We're aware that we're in this world, you know, like this physical world.
Yeah.
And that's like what we've known since birth. And I guess it's conceivable to think of pure awareness
I don't know what pure awareness refers to.
I mean, because okay, pure awareness is like awareness minus space, minus any like proprioception, any.
You mean like a brain in
of-
a jar?
No, I don't know. No, I just mean like like our spatial awareness.
My ability to have spatial awareness is mostly due to my
Yeah, it's in the brain. Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
it's because of my sense organs that are taking in all the data around me, while I'm aware of my space around me.
Mhm. Right.
I
So
don't
minus that.
I don't see what the purpose. I still don't understand what the purpose of a soul is and what it does.
So minus spatial awareness, minus physical sensations like cool and heat and
So remove
pressure.
remove the nervous system from the brain. Remove my eyes. Remove the little hairs in my ears
It'd be
that
very
tell me.
numb, but
Yeah, I'd be numb.
Yeah.
I'd be numb. I'd be able to think, and because I've already seen things in the past, I'd be able to think about those things in my head.
I think you would be
one
aware.
could imagine
I
like
think
a
you would be.
brain born had never had access to that, but would still be
you
able
would
to
be-
think and process and
Yeah.
do the whole I think therefore I am, I guess.
I think you'd be aware of existence.
I'd be aware that I exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think just a brain alone can do that. I don't see why you need
Yeah.
a soul for that.
I don't think because a brain, like we just said, we can explain like perception of like something hot, something cold. We can perceive the distance of things.
Yeah,
Sure,
because
sure. I mean,
that's
a
because-
brain.
that's because my brain is
senses.
Yeah, my brain is attached to the rest of my organs, and my organs are doing all of that. They're taking all the data and shoving it into my brain. If you just remove my brain and somehow you're able to magically keep it alive, I would be able to, like, I guess, dream, because dreaming is happening in the brain. But then again, like, my body is no longer supplying certain chemicals and dopamine like to my brain anymore, I guess, maybe in this hypothetical. So I don't know like what my brain is capable of doing at that point. You probably have less ability to like feel things because you no longer have
You wouldn't really be able to perceive the outside world, but like again, you'd be able to think and stuff.
As far as I can tell, though, this is still just telling me that everything that makes me me is right here.
Yep.
Well, so we said like it can perceive that it exists.
My brain is able to understand that it exists because it's thinking.
So existence is not really a question for like for the physical sciences, like we can like
It's about human behavior. I don't see why not.
Yeah, but human behavior is like something that we experience in our bodies, like in human, in like conversation. And
Sure, but what causes human experience?
We're talking about a brain
That's-
apart from that, like who's never experienced that before.
Well, a brain that
you're presupposing you can have that.
I mean, like for
Well, that's the
example,
whole thought experiment, right?
like for example, there's a guy named his name's Tommy Edison, not to be confused with the inventor. Tommy Edison, and he was born blind, and so as a result, even in his dreams, he doesn't see anything. His dreams are purely audio and tactile, and they're not visual whatsoever. So if you have a brain that's never received any sense data, then I don't know what its experience would be like. It wouldn't be able to see things in its own head and its own self. It wouldn't be able to hear things. It wouldn't even understand the concept of sound or audio or vision or feeling or any of that. It would just exist.
Mm-hmm.
But
It
that
would
doesn't
exist, and it would know it exists.
I don't even know how much you would such a brain would be. I don't even know if it'd be able to derive such concepts. If it didn't learn anything, if it didn't learn anything, it doesn't even know it's a brain because it.
You guys did concede to it just a minute ago, like that it would know it exists. Just to be clear.
What?
I don't know what its experience would be like because it's never learned anything.
No, I just mean like just earlier you said that it could know it exists or would know it exists.
Well, that's
if you, like,
that's a
took it
brain.
out of a
That's it if you took it out of a human body and it's already experienced all the stuff in the world. But if it's a brain that's never
No,
experienced
from
anything,
scratch, yeah, from
well, if
scratch.
we're talking about from scratch, I don't know what that brain's experience would of the world would be like. I don't even know if it would understand any concepts whatsoever because it's never learned anything. It knows nothing more. It knows less than probably a fetus would.
Bible, Colin wants letting up before he crashes.
But like, I don't think I'm even 1% closer to believing in a soul after this. It's the soul is so ill-defined, which is why the irony of it is it's the most dead concept in all of philosophy.
Well, I mean, maybe we touched on something interesting, and it's something I have to consider, which is just the awareness of simple existence. Because it's interesting. I wasn't even expecting that, but it does tie into like ontology, and how. And I haven't studied it thoroughly, but the question of something's existence is like a debated idea, or I don't know if it is debated, but the question of whether or not existence is a property of an object or anything. Like we know science doesn't ask those questions of the existence of things. It just asks
Because we see that things exist, so I don't have to question whether or not the mouse on my keypad exists because I'm just experiencing it.
Yeah. Well, we're just trying to ground all. We're just trying to ground all.
Science is concerned with what does exist, like what is in existence.
It is concerned with how things behave.
No. Like for example,
What about like
aliens?
archaeology? Like,
do aliens exist? Scientists are interested in whether or not aliens have ontology, whether or not they exist.
Yeah. Well,
that's a good example.
It's more like what
I
is
do have
what
a
is what it is. But
Colin, you have a question?
Well, I mean, if it even exists at all.
Well, no, what it is, like what it's made of.
What?
Well, if it exists as well.
Yeah. What was it you wanted
Or
to say,
like what
Colin?
exists.
Yeah, Colin. Well, you had a question so you wanted to pose?
Yeah, so I was in this Theist Live with Bible believing Baldy, I think his username was. And so he thought he wanted a contradiction from the Bible, and I was giving him the David and Goliath one versus Elhanan. And he said that wasn't actually a contradiction. He said that was a translation error that they just decided to keep in, and Elhanan actually killed Goliath's brother, I think.
Oh yeah, just so you know, in the original Hebrew, it doesn't say brother. It only says brother in some English translations.
Gotcha.
So the contradiction is true and real.
Okay. Yeah. See, and like I just don't know enough about the original Hebrew to have called that out. But I was like,
Tell them to come and talk to me, and I'll set them straight.
He's kind of a Darth Dawkins, like doesn't want to come up on the atheist lives because he can't control the conversation.
Then tell him to message me, and I'll set him straight.
He came in and he kicked both of us like shortly after that. But
yeah,
thanks, man. I appreciate it. I was like, what is this guy talking about? Elhanan didn't kill Goliath's brother. Like what?
Yeah, it's a bad apology from someone who doesn't know anything about the original Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he was Calvinist. If you ever see him sometime, he's just got my goat today.
Oh, great. The worst kind of Christian. But yeah, no problem.
Appreciate it, man.
Anyways, so we've been going on for 30 minutes and I'm not yet convinced that the soul exists, and I think I'm going to move on.
Sounds good, bro. Maybe I'll have to come back sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe go look up what grape is too. Bye.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said maybe go and look up what grape is too. Bye.
Yes, go and look up the definition of rape. Oh, man alive. Wow. We are at the end of our show. Hi, Equality.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm actually about to end, but after I get done walking my dogs, we will be doing the Bible Guy After Dark show on TikTok. So, but real quick, I do need to read these super chats from, and this is for our Muslim guest, at Steve Gear with the $5. This is a Muslim joke. What's the best thing about dating 29-year-olds? There are 20 of them. Hashtag justice for Aisha. That is the Muslim thinking. That is the Muslim thinking.
Oh, cow, that was bad.
And at Herbie Shine with the £5. Hello, Governor. Chat trolls always so confidently stupid. The Big Nick and Cincy, I'm looking at you, is really funny seeing them contradict themselves, but also very sad. Well, Big Nick and Cincy, you have been called out. Fantastic. All right. So everyone, we will be back in like 15 to 20 minutes. You and all of you are more than welcome to come back. And when we get back, I will be doing, I guess I will be continuing our reading of The Hobbit. So, thank you to Quantanaut, Chloe, Colin, Equality, Styx, and everyone else who was up today. Much appreciated. And also big appreciation to all you lovely people on TikTok and all you lovely people on YouTube. I see you all over there, and all the people who are in the Discord chat. I see you as well. Much appreciated to all of you, and we will see you all again in 20 minutes or so. All right. I've been the Bible guy. Remember to keep reading, keep learning, and we'll see you all again in 20 minutes. Bye.
Like a sword of desire, ancient scrolls and cosmic flame. He tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the scars align. Knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell. He reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guy, seeker of the light. Through time and fire, he rides the night with reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible guide. Scrolls of ages, words aflame.